item for all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the President's Hour and the Gladi program, Look Me, I Look You. All this they start soon na www.sierragemedia.org. Now who's tem these?
The total population of Sierra Leone in 2019 was stated approximately at 7.8 million. And the most common cancer reported in 2018 was breast cancer, with an incidence rate of 25.1% and a mortality rate of 19.2%. Ward 2 at the Connaught Hospital, Freetown, is a female surgical ward that cares for patients requiring breast surgery, chemotherapy, and palliative care. General surgery also admits to the ward as see fit. The ward is in need of a significant refurbishment and has a major impact on patient assessment and delivery of treatment, dignity, comfort, and infection control measures. The current ward area presents a significant challenge to infection control. There is no fit for purpose or adequate personal hygiene facilities. The showers and sanitary areas are in poor condition and are difficult to clean. The flooring is deteriorated. Overall decor and fabric of the walls need repair and full decoration. Furniture, cupboards, and shelving require replacement. The sluice, known to be the dirty utility room, is in poor condition and needs replacing. Windows need to be replaced as current windows bring in draughts, dust, debris, mosquitoes, and rodents. There is no designated area to provide a day service for patients receiving chemotherapy. Medical supplies is desperately needed. Therefore, we need a total amount of £15,000, which is equivalent to 195 million leones, for this project. This project will focus on women diagnosed with breast cancer and other non-malignant breast abnormalities requiring one or more of the treatment modalities that are currently available. We will also set up a day unit for the administration of chemotherapy and provide training and development to ensure sustainability. Therefore, I am pleading to all individuals, organizations, and local businesses, and every Sierra Leonean and friends of Sierra Leone to make a meaningful contribution that will never go in vain. Ways to contribute will be seen at the end of this clip. I am Aissata Cissé Jallow of the Health Show Partnership Program. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Hello, hello, Fambulem. Una good afternoon, good evening, and I'll say good night, and some other places good morning, depending on whose partner the world we find yourself. Welcome to Sierra Media. We today we will say it's a Saturday zooming in special. Welcome, welcome, and I want to apologize for the late start. And as soon as I know, we can try our level best, but sometimes they beat technology. So our hands are tied, but we'll ensure that we level best for letting kind here not happen. We appreciate you all for coming, for joining me on this special program, both here on the YouTube as well as on Facebook. It's going to be an exciting interview today. Like I said, it's an exclusive. We are doing an interview with the Mayor of Freetown, Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, OBE. It is live now London studio, and we have our team out there, and it will come to Najisno for we can talk about things that we related to we capital city, as soon as know the oldest municipality or city council now in Africa, one of the oldest, So, and it can tell we since in 3 years, we over 3 years now, we don't take over since May 2018 to date, waiting it achieve, together within team, as well as the challenges them, and waiting the future hold for the council and we city. It's going to be an exciting program. Please, 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 we ask you to keep it clean as always. That's, low respect we guest, and low respect we colleagues them or fellow Sierra Leoneans them or friends of Sierra Leone within the chat group them. Keep your comments coming in, keep your questions. If we have time, we'll definitely pose some of those questions to them. If we're not able to pose them to them live, we'll make sure we forward it to the mayor and in team, so then we will for feedback to some of the concerns or questions they want to get. Just waiting to see if my London studio is ready so we can go live and get T-Boy, with my co-host, for say hello to Una, and then we go introduce the mayor. He will tell Una ado before we start the program. Better one. So we're going to keep it clean as always. Let me know, T-Boy, when you're ready. So you will say hello. I got a problem, eh? Yeah. Well, because this, like I tell you, this is a special zooming in program. Again, for make sure say you ready, because we get big guests that we studio. We appreciate that it take time for not to just virtually, but Iwaka camp now we studio. So we appreciate that. So I want to know whether you really ready. Are you? If you're ready, say hello to our. Well, I'll tell you first. Me born na Eastern, I born na Cottage Hospital. We grab na money, fish day, per mind day, then kind of thing. Then they so many Freetown Bobo. I grew up na Central, and then also spend most of my other time na the dead west of Freetown. So yes, and also West 2 as well, Brookfield area. All right. All right, we will come to that later. We get a little bit of feedback that there's sound issue from T-Boy. We know to get you sound. T-Boy will check that, and also come to media you, but we viewers them now and say they're not you. So we'll come to Mr. To the technical team for make sure say then check you sound, that we will get a good sound from we. All right. So no sound from the London studio. They come. They well fumble them. Whilst we get that sound sorted, as I say, we get now we studio Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr. We they're on vacation now the United Kingdom, but it takes time for come now we studio for do an interview for talk to people and both Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora and Sierra Leoneans at home. You know, since it don't take over the city council as the mayor elected, and then he begin work May 2018 to date. It come with an agenda we then call the Transform Freetown Agenda. We all know, I should say, one of the things that we go say, we'll see some activities then they go around. Now the Freetown in terms of service delivery, we they see things then they happen, say, okay, you can attribute some of them to here, so to Freetown City Council, say, now the council, they do this for the municipality of Freetown. And so it on the 3 years plus in office, it will can't talk to you. I think it's a better, you know, a better term than for can't talk about you successes, challenges, and the future for the capital city. I'll check again for see if we don't get sound from London studio. People, can you hear me? All right, so for now we program then also if you can watch for the past few months. We don't show the video clip. We show some of the things that we the mayor and team mentioned, say some of the things that they don't achieve so far with the Transform Freetown Agenda. It gets for do obviously with the thing that we always talk about, the dotting at streets, waiting and on they do the flood mitigation, and also for help residents of Freetown, even with small garden then. And also we talk about dog den at the street for pool dog den at street, and also give them injection. So, you know, for that rabies in case they bet somebody. So a lot of other things that we don't they happen. And also the property tax as well, where we hear a lot about, and that's go future as well, because if you're a resident of Freetown, you want for no say if you they pay you tax, waiting at the benefits, you know, whether then just they pay the tax for tax sake, or you they pay for help for pay some of their service delivery also, and how they will sustain the work of the city council. So those are some of the things that we get for talk about. Let me see. I see there are some chat or questions. Now the questions or comments there. Now the chat group, whilst we get the mayor for come on. Let me see here. Fofana Mohammed, they ask us local council rights to advertise and donation. SAPP has full power to sanitize FCC. So there's a awareness time article. All right, we'll look into that as well. Once we don't go through the interviews to see if we get them for question, then definitely we'll send it. And then if the mayor unable for respond right now or unable to get to them questions or comments, we'll definitely send them over to her, and then we'll be able to respond to the person. Right, we apologize again. We are for the sound issue from London. Like I said, technology sometimes then they can get in your way they do things. Let me see here. So in the meantime, you know, keep sharing to your friends and network, because you know one for let somebody will be asked meeting with us, one for make sure the person here first stand like yourself soon are able for them and discuss their issues because anything, whether you tap na Freetown or not, you know, anything where they happen na Freetown concern you and get to do with you directly, not to indirectly. If you're not in a Freetown, your family in a Freetown, or you get business for doing a Freetown. So that is why it is important to know what's happening in Freetown and within the Freetown City Council to improve, you know, the capital city. Let's see here. Right. If you have questions so far, keep posting them on the Facebook and on YouTube. Then if we get time, we will reach to them questioning. So if you have a question, specific question or comment for the mayor, please post it. Then we will try to get to. All right, Arun Pape, we hear you. You say UK is our second home. Let's have her rest. Una the stress I'm too much. All right, yes. Yeah. So we did now make we appreciate them very much that it come now we platform because we know for say a day on vacation as we see. She mentioned that it only away from her family for over 16 months, you know, being able to see them, but he managed for take time and go see them for this time. But in as much as that, she still spend time for Canawi Studio and do other activities that were related to Sierra Leone or connect with Sierra Leoneans. So send your comments in, please, or questions whilst we get the mayor on air for now. We apologize for that technical issue there with sound, and we definitely try to fix them as soon as possible. Okay. Let me see, there are text messages coming through. Let's see if we get any exciting text or something worth sharing right now. Let me just check to see. All right. And for the newcomers or viewers, then we na the first time on the join we appreciate una like we page, una follow we, and also share with everybody in your network. So which we'll get for do at some point, since the mayor they live now in studio, I'll do the introduction and hopefully I will hand over to my co-host, Sylvester T-Boy Duba. We go run the face-to-face interview with the mayor because he did it. We want to see how they all do interact. It's more of an interaction rather than you know, an interview, not so like any tense thing. Because the mayor now we own person now Freetown. You understand? She's part of us. We said our Freetonians them. So we go for talk like Freetonians, and then let we see how we all able to work together for push. We, you know, the capital city go before as well as the country by extension. So once we get that sound, I'll hand you over to you know, the London studio. Let's see what's happening. And possibly at some point we will get for play for another video for the mayor in 3 years in office. So for reminder now, then they go juggle on a memory, then sometimes we go trigger some questions them or the conversation as well on specific issues. All right, I see a lot of new faces and names them at this group. Let we keep them clean yonder, please. Una don't be argue the, you know, una not able, we not even start it. Yeah, yeah, keep it right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Steve, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me, T-Boy?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
I see Facebook and YouTube then.
Can the audience hear me as well? Can you ask them if they can hear me, please?
Yeah, so if una dey T-Boy, una give it thumbs up. Because it look like say the sound on the again at we own side. Yeah. If una dey T-Boy, una give me thumbs up, please.
T-Boy, keep talking.
T-Boy,
can you hear me once more?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, T-Boy. So just wait for confirm whether. Oh, it looks like I say. Yes, I think T-Boy, we audience they hear you now.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we don't get confirmation. Say then they so now for just speak up a little bit. Loud. Thank you so much for your patience. You know, people. Una de yeri me but I want to know if una de yeri T-boy because T-boy na get the mayor right now. They are jealous. All right, T-boy. So then they hear you, but the mic they far off from you. So
the mic they far off from me. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, give me 1 second. Can you hear me loud and clear now?
Yeah, they still hear you, but the only thing I just make sure so you don't get for bluff per mayor too much for begin talk. You know, to make sure so you be audible as much as possible.
If I try to respond to you for that, it's a problem. But I need to respond to you, but I give the benefit of the doubt.
All right. So let's try our level best to ensure that
they can hear me loud and clear now.
Yeah. So if we're not there for you clear, say as long as we hear mayor clear, then that's fine. Yes.
Okay, Juma, I hear you. Me hear you loud and clear. And
all right, so let's go. So, but talk to Fambulem quick. You know, say hello to Fambulem as you know, as much as possible, loud as possible. Then we go to Mayor Lane and say hello to Fambulem.
Okay, I want to say hello and welcome once more. Earlier on, I decided for talk plenty talk, but I think I cut some short now because the time for the sound check and everything don't take too much of the time today. But I want to say welcome and thank you all for watching. And also say today is one of the hottest topics and everybody is geared towards this program today because I see the charts. I'm not going to play much role on the charts today, but what I got to for do now for make sure say I monitor as much as I can. So just like what Jim don't say earlier on, keep it clean, keep it safe, and keep it normal as always. And definitely, if there's a lot more we can talk about today, we will definitely talk about them. So in the meantime, I want to say thank you and welcome to another edition of Sierra Leone Media Live on Saturday. And I want to say thank you to all the guests that will follow me, all the people who don't follow me today. We're not one of the odd days they work in the program, but I think the follow-up and the participation is extremely encouraging. I don't say everybody wants to hear from the mayor. The mayor don't do most of what thing he don't do in Freetown, and I believe say he gets a lot more for do for Freetown. But today I'm not gonna talk much, but I get for allow the mayor for making do all the talking for me. So Juma, is it okay now make a welcome the mayor or you have to do the welcoming? But
well,
I think because you're far away from me. So
yes, I want to see me. You one thing where I like now me mayor and smile. Okay, make sure smile. You know, where they brighten the room, they make you feel for talk to her. So, Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, welcome to Sierra Leone Media with London Studios, and we want to apologize to you for the technical glitches here and there. But we appreciate you very much that you take time for come now with studio and come talk to we today about all the things that you don't do you and your team. And for share with me. So want you for say hello to Fambulem out there. And also, yeah, let's say hello to Fambulem first. Let's start from there.
Okay. Fambulem, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night. Juma, T-Boy, Femi, thank you for inviting me to Sierra Leone Media. And I'd like to do it tonight this evening.
All right, thank you so much. And also, let we start. We know say na vacation you come, and like you stated, 16 months away from your family, but you come. So what's vacation life look like since you don't come spend a couple of weeks with your family?
Well, it don't be very, very quiet. You don't say first of all, again, for doing 10 days isolation at us because I come in before the beginning hotel stuff. But it's been great. I just to be a wife and a mom. So just doing the normal things like cooking and tidying around and spending time. I've been really, this was a very, very important time for me to come because I've been wanting to meet up my daughter in 25th birthday. So I'm glad I've been there for that day. But really it's this quiet. That's how I'm going to describe them. Few work things here and there because you will always make use of any opportunity. So, I mean, I'll be able to get opportunities from meet with Mayor Sadiq Khan on Wednesday, which will be useful. Today, I don't do an interview with Channel 4 News because of the topic of climate change and the fact, say, being a part of C40 cities in the run-up to this big meeting we then call COP26. Next week, I will do a BBC interview. But other than that, cinema, chill na yeah, go for walks with me, me young adults, because they're picking them, but they're not kids. Yeah, so it's been really, really relaxing.
So see,
Right.
it's like the best food we don't cook so far. Not so you don't begin get stuck in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, I do a roast lamb for my daughter's birthday. I don't come for do heavy cooking. So keeping it light, pasta,
Okay.
roast.
That's good. At least you don't feel like you don't go back to your normal person than the mayor, because the mayor is not giving you that opportunity to do a lot of stuff within your own reach.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel coming back to London and exercise most of the things in the video you used to do over the years before you go back to salon on a full-time basis?
Well, I feel say every human being get all the different parts. Work not will be everything about you. Your family life is a part of you. Your friendships is a part of you. Your hobbies is a part of you. When you're in public service, you work, you take the majority. But that don't mean to say the rest of you for disappear. So I'm grateful for get time for just, connecting. Me and I with the paints. All the artwork within the walls that we host, most of them, and he paints them.
Wow.
And we just don't tell me, say before I left here, I could do a painting for them. So, all that they help. But like just rest and relax because the work's stressful, the work hectic, and everybody needs a break. So I'm glad for getting this opportunity to get a break.
Wow. You still not get a break because wait, I was still thinking.
I know, right? How could you?
I think so. We're very proud that we have you today in our midst, and for the fact you kind of studio, we give you so much kudos and respect for that because it doesn't really happen all the time. And for carrying with you now with studio, it don't cost me a lot of more than hard work. But we get to do that for you because definitely, I think so with all the work we done in our Freetown, you deserve more than that. So we're very happy and pleased to be with you today. Juma.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Miles and miles ahead of you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I know say me get for equalize. We may or Canada, North America, now something different you will see.
You don't go understand, see, we go there on the same jet.
Yeah, but one thing why I appreciate, boy, now that of course Mayor don't tell we say, first you're a mortal man, you get family, then public life. But it takes a whole lot of sacrifice. And these are the things that we need to understand as a people. We get for learn for appreciate people the way they serve. Imagine sacrificing 16 months of your time. You go say, oh yeah, nine choice. Yeah, but choice, someone has to do it. So in sacrifice, he puts himself on the line. We get for make sure say we appreciate people them efforts and work with them for make we all achieve together. Let them sacrifices here where people they make for public life, let it not go in vain. So let's go to the topic. Mayor T-Boy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. So Mayor, May 2018, you begin serve. We don't see a lot of things them. So, but we hear one big word, Transform Freetown Agenda. It was like, who's kind of big book this Mayor Council, Transform Freetown Agenda. Then country in America, London, Canada, and they okay, them big agenda they all within the UN agencies them, where you bring and come down to Freetown. So tell me, what would be the rationale behind the Transform Freetown Agenda? And was that something that was part of your manifesto or policies where you plan or commit say you can achieve?
Thank you, Juma. So I just think who's camera? I did this for you.
Yeah, well.
And outside. All right.
Anyway,
okay.
You get all the opportunities to find camera that you want to use. So anyone you choose.
All right.
It's fine.
Okay, so Transform Freetown, Juma, you hit the nail on the head because you asked me say that in part of waiting a campaign on. So absolutely. So family and members say Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr has been important way been there in the political scene.
Right.
I don't need the private sector all my life, and now, in fact, I'm not even living in Freetown. I've been getting the go and come. Now Ebola, we have come for 7 Ebola, followed by the President's Delivery Team. Now in that space, working the President's Delivery Team, the thing really drives me, and that's a talk at Channel 5 this evening. The thing really drives me to make this decision. Now the issues around climate, right. we in beyond context, very simply about the deforestation and about the sanitation. the poor sanitation within the city. So that was the starting point. But in coming to the decision for one for mayor, you know, will come and say that two things.
Right.
So who say I start? To me, the logical place for start that be the Local Government Act.
Okay.
So I go through the Local Government Act.
Yeah,
and I remember the Sierra Leone Local Government Act 2004. I remember meeting somebody, I don't call him name. We meet Nalunge, where I did read the act. Now I say you, it's actually that the only mayoral aspirant when you read the Local Government Act.
But that's very important because if you don't know about the Local Government Act, you're not able for go through you.
Exactly. And in reading it, so the idea was for get an understanding of waiting at the scope of a mayor's mandate.
Okay.
Because you don't go begin to go campaign and say, I do this, wait, then afterwards you can find out and say, no, to within your scope.
Right.
So that was the starting point for actually identifying and obviously research as well and data, you know, actually researching information about what was going on in the city. So for example, that during that period, I come across all the statistics, but we don't use as baseline for sanitation,
right,
which was that only 6% of liquid waste, i.e. waste in the government body them, and 21% of solid waste was being collected. So in looking at that acting, we campaign, you call a manifesto, but we campaign pledge that be for a community, for a Freetown, for a progress. And then 3 things and they under each one for a community, you can get a certain number of things that we say I go do, okay, similar for a Freetown, similar for a progress. But now them that manifesto promise. Now waiting I talk they from geomapping the city, okay, to when it comes to the municipal schools. Now their ideas then those commitments now then feed into Transform Freetown. How? Okay. First of all, at the level of doing a manifesto, if you want to use that expression, right, through a campaign, you get part information, but you don't get full information. You get what you don't see from the outside. You don't get what you don't read, but you don't talk to the people then, right, in that detail. Part of the campaign are talking to the people. So like, for example, one of the things that we don't do, and we'll come on to in more detail, is the nurseries in the markets. That come from direct experience of campaign.
So we make mention of the municipal school. You talk about the schools that we run by the
council. And then I also get to explain what you run by the council means, because so much has changed. Right. You know, from the years when municipal schools were really just under the council to side with the ATA. So I just want to run through the process, the progression.
Right.
So for a community, for a Freetown, for a progress, those had high level coming to council, and for people that will be there around during the campaign. One question we did, where people are always going to ask, journalists have always going to ask, wait till you go do that in first 100 days. I've been get a fixed answer, and my answer was, I plan. I refuse to be drawn into any specific.
You were not specific about what exactly you do.
I plan, because if you fail to plan, you can't fail, and it's really important for let you do something, sort of significant and impactful. You need to have a plan.
So were they asking the question just because they want to know what's your agenda?
No, because it's a typical question that they always ask people when you run for office. If anybody runs for office, be sure that you always ask Christian, what should you do in your first 100 days? It's a standard question. Okay. And I give my own response, which is I'm going to plan. And that's precisely what you do. And actually, because we actually had this period, the election was the 7th of March. We got the announcement of the results on the 18th of March. But I actually wasn't sworn in until the 11th of May. So you have all of April, half of May. So that was like 8 weeks.
And during that 8 weeks, you were just waiting?
So during the 8 weeks, I started to plan.
Oh, you were planning?
Yeah.
During the 8 weeks, you actually started?
Yeah. So during that 8 weeks, we actually sat down with a small group of, close friends and associates, team members, people we've been on there with me in the campaign. Right. And we began to do some of this thinking. How do we take those campaign promises? How do we articulate them in a way where we were able to get wider buy-in, right, and commitment? So one of the things which is really important about Transform Freetown is that the strapline is inclusive, adopting an inclusive, community-driven approach with the performance, with data and performance management. So it means to say people need to be part of it. So what we say is Transform Freetown is what we're going to do, how we're going to do it is the 4 clusters, 11 priority sectors, and 19 targets. And who's going to do it?
And that is
all of us.
with the people getting involved.
Absolutely. So what did we do? So I came into office, and the 100-day plan became 4 work streams. The first one was quick wins, because it was already May. Rain was going to come, started to come in June. And I've been on talk about this climate issue. So the flood mitigation was one of the quick wins. It was one of the first things we did. Began to engage with flood mitigation. Now we talk flood mitigation, all manner of Freetown, we to talk about.
Right.
But then it was like, okay, what's that? I will still tell you. Okay. So the flood mitigation was a really comprehensive technical approach to ensure that during the rainy season, just in the run of the rainy season and through the rainy season, we not just randomly clear some gutters and some bridges, but we actually systematically do them in a way where we go out, we map, we work with communities. So for example, I'll give a good example, Krube in a flood. Because of this approach, we sit down with the Krube stakeholders and we ask them for map, the specific areas then, when they want to, yeah. Right. What do we find? We find out, say, one bridge been on there, one engine been on blow. We've been all collapse inside the river, when they call the Crocodile River or Alligator River. They already go through Krube. And that thing is going to act like a dam. So as part of flood mitigation, that first year, we come with moving equipment. We lift the broken bridge out and the water flow. And so we did that right. So we did that right across the city. And that's something we do every year. Although this year has had its own challenges. And we talk about challenges that will transfer. So there was this sort of sense of quick wins. The second one was about processes. Looking at waiting council to do in terms of processes, and then also looking at assets, waiting council debt. Okay. And I thought we could do those in 100 days. the process and assets. We're still on it. Still not identified everything. Still on it. And then the third one was developing the Transform Freetown Agenda, fleshing it out. And the fourth of the 4 work streams was the establishment of the Mayor's Delivery Unit. Because what was clear to me was, if you want to do something transformative, you're going to need extra hands on deck. You're going to need extra technical expertise. Yeah. So building the Mayor's Delivery Unit, establishing that, was already part of every presentation where I made back in 2018 for how we would spend that first 100 days. Okay, so what did the process turn out to be? When it came to Transform Freetown, we held focus groups. 322 focus groups across the city. Just within Freetown and Freetown, only Freetown we get. Wow.
So quickly, Mayor, I apologize for jumping in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So you don't highlight a lot of things then where they look at, because you just can't jump in for go begin do the work. Like you say, you get for do that foundation. And then they don't take most parts of your time for do that. So it's like you've been on the go since the day where you got sworn in. There was no breathing space. But you try for do something inclusive, because like you stated, you can't try for transform a place if you not get the people and part of it, because, everything will just fall, apart. So I want quickly, tell we where, because when T-Boy asked the question, if that just Freetown, we tell us in our only Freetown we get. I want you to tell me who side, cover how many wards you get for how many areas or communities. So let people understand.
Waiting at the jurisdiction.
Yes.
A very important question. Even this morning, one auntie called me, they tell me about Hamilton. Now say Auntie Joyce, I don't cover Hamilton. Wow. So it's a very important question. So those 322 focus groups have been within the 48 wards within Freetown, the 48 wards of Freetown. So the boundary, na the east, na Orogu Bridge, Allington, Ward 399.
That is Freetown end.
That is Freetown end on the east. Right. Then you want Canal to the west, now Ward 446, Levuma Beach. So when you don't pass Juba, Levuma Beach, the Sansan, the Usai the Sansande. You not reach.
You that San
No, not to the
Outside it's Walkley and Kinde.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
You not reach Godrich. Funkia, Godrich, I don't care, not of it on. The way you go up the hill now, if you want to go up for the college, you know, side the waterfall there?
Yeah.
Uside the normal car wash?
Dakov.
Now they Freetown go. Then, so for the college, no, they inside Freetown. Then when you go up hill station, after you pass Troy Tram Hospital, Uside then call 30 Junction, then you get one other one and call Mansion Junction, Mansion House Junction, now they Freetown go. So Freetown, now just within that boundary.
So
everything else
smaller than we they think say it be.
It's smaller than most people they think say it be.
Wow.
Because I regularly get issue. And Mayor, so happen at Dre, and I said, Dre not every time. So happen I got Boris not every time. So happen I said Hamilton not every time. It happened at not every time.
So yeah.
So now I'm telling us so.
How
That
did
that's
they
the
deal with that
jurisdiction.
kind of dynamics there? Because now challenge was for me. Because it's not the first time I hear that in
Right.
very honest.
So
I never knew Freetown not just that area.
We don't put billboards, but they're not big enough. And very soon I will see bigger ones then. And even me and my dear brother.
So Freetown ends there.
Yes, exactly. Even me and my dear brother, Chairman Cashaw, just maybe it was 3 weeks ago. No, I've been here 3 weeks. So maybe 4 weeks ago, we get a meeting, me and a deputy, with the own deputy chief administrator, with NEC, the National Electoral Commission, as well as when I gave a Ghana meeting, the statistics Sierra Leone. And why we getting meeting? Because we own residents with the Ghana issue. Who that for pay the tax to? Who that for pay property rates to? Some side and they will catch it. They say, no, man, I'm there. I said, no, I'm there. So we begin to get a meeting because we know the big border them. But inside one and we need to make sure say it all clear.
So okay,
that's
then they pay to who? If then they pay to Freetown in your own.
What's Western Area Rural District under Chairman Cashaw, Helen Poe.
So
outside of me, they're Western Area Rural.
Wow.
All of waiting that be boundary. But I want quickly just end with this, how the Transform Freetown thing came about.
Yeah.
So when we don't meet with the communities then, we actually engaged 15,000 people between July and August 2018. And where we do, we take the 11 priority sectors, and then we ask them vote on 3 things: availability of that service, accessibility, because something available, you don't able to access that, then affordability of that.
So what service in particular?
So when it comes to not affordability, I think it was accessible, availability. I think it's about affordability. Yes. So from I'm going to go through the 11 priority sectors, but from things as diverse, from health, markets, sanitation, the things we form the Transform Freetown.
Right.
So we want for years from residents how you feel city council don't do. So as I came in to get a heat map. And get an
your own
assessment.
feasibility studies and ask people
Yes,
to say exactly.
so in every community, the councillor, within ward development committee members, they lead this process, and they were supported by people from the center, from the FCC staff, and even the MDU. So we've been able to collect all this information, and this information tells me something very, very clear. For not one of the 11 areas that we asked, we say score between 1 to 10. Nobody knows score 5 on average.
Those 3 access availability.
We not get score of 5. We tell you what we know, which is that the council needed to do more. So it's not bad. It's good for you get information, and it's good for you get not just the quantitative, i.e. the numbers, but also the qualitative. For hearing from people, waiting at the specific issue, so we get all their notes, all their records. So that was the bottom up, going to the people. The next thing we did was what we call planning labs. So we start off, because governance, it's so important that inclusivity really means you're bringing it to everyone.
Yes.
So the next thing we did, having spoken to the people that are on the ground, and then at the time, we get the privilege and opportunity for talk to His Excellency the President and tell and say, this is the structure of Transform Freetown. These 4 clusters, 11 priority sectors. I would really want to get an opportunity to talk to all the ministers, heads of MDAs, for the different sectors then. So if na environment, EPA, if na health, Ministry of Health, if na urban mobility, Ministry of Transport. Rather than I go to each ministry, I can please engage them all together. So on the 17th of August, there was a special cabinet meeting at which we present all the Transform Freetown. And we asked the different MDAs for work with we, for make we able to push this agenda. And on the Sunday, I then call all the development partners, World Bank, ADB, EU, all UN, everybody. Make the same presentation, which I say to them that this now we own areas. We need for developer more. We need for set targets. We need for understand, I will use one small technical jargon. We need to understand the theory of change. Waiting at the team we will get for do in this sector, we're going to really make a big impact for address the challenges. Because not all things you go able to fix. Yeah. But we never want for let UNA as development partners, UNA as NGOs, they go plan this, plan that on my own. Let me all come sit down, work together, so that when we come up with an agenda, now something where UNA self no say, money. So we have what we call planning labs. We take another 2 months, and then we invite the general public. We invite people like the Institute of Engineers, Institute of Architects. We invite the teachers and the head teachers, all the different interest groups per topic, and we hold them planning labs. So in the planning lab, for every one of these sectors, we really go through, we self-fund research, we give everybody the documents. Which are the biggest problem in this area? We think we were able to. Of course, you can say the sky is the limit, but we all know the constraints thing. Yeah. So based on our mandate, based on likelihood of getting funding, based on impact, waiting at the targets where we will set, and then the initiatives. And that's so we develop Transform Freetown, which was launched on January 24th, 2019. We get 19 specific targets, and we have been rolling those out for the last 3 years.
So what's some of the things that now we
T-Boy, hello, can you hear me? Hello, T-Boy, can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me, I'm not hear you now. However, can you hear me, T-Boy? All right. I just gonna ask that the mayor don't tell we all the, planning, the behind the scene work, the sleepless nights and so on and so forth for make sure, say, the Transform Freetown agenda come to life. And, of course, waiting me see and I talk about the theory of change. That was one. But however, I see where it do two connection also. It try for make sure say, it think global and act local. At the same time, it make sure say it projects Freetown not just to Freetonians and Sierra Leone, but strive for connecting with within the happen other parts of the world, which is beautiful because with that you learn a lot from other people, and other people they learn from our best practices as well. Because we have a lot of other places where as challenged as we are as a nation or as a capital city. Yes. So I don't know. Can you hear me out there now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
So Mayor, thank you so much for highlighting that. And of course, people learn new things today about the jurisdiction of, Freetown, and as well as Usaina you bandit, where sometimes you get blamed for things the way they happen now, so I will not get for do with you. So waiting at the achievements then, if you can highlight to me, I don't know at some point if we get time, we will play the video of the achievements of the Transform Freetown agenda. What are the main things then where people they see or people they touch or people they utilize today will not be available yesterday? Then I'm sure within possibly you want forgive me, wait till you meet, because I've done it, they make away the achievements. What was there yesterday before you took over the mantle of leadership in the council? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I think we can hear you, Juma, very clearly. I think we go make the mayor responsible once we start forget the video.
Yes.
Basically, the video will come now, and then it will tell you what team it meets. So basically, I know say you want for one right now, but not run.
No, I know they run at all. I want for the achievement because me they each follow here from the achievements them. Then we can talk about some of the challenges them as well because it's not easy, honestly. Okay. But I'll get for tell one secret anyway today. Over to you, Mayor.
Okay, well, I think if anyone played the video, and I think pictures speak more than 1,000 words.
Yes, definitely.
So let me watch the video.
All right.
And then we get feedback after the video. So over to you.
11th May 2021 make me 3 years where I don't day in office. I say let I come and tell Freetonians them una boku tenki for where una elect me and when I give me this mandate for serving. But I not just want to tell una thank you for when I elect me. I want to tell una thank you for when I don't work with me and work with the councillors, work with the staff of Freetown City Council, work with so many stakeholders, including the central government, the international partners, the local partners. I want to tell una, the Freetonians, and thank you, but I want to tell all the other groups and the boku tenki. Together, we embark on a journey for Transform Freetown, and in nobody not been say it go easy. We published the plan in January 2019, and then in January 2020, we published our first year report, and then in January 2021, we don't publish with 2-year report. Inside the reports and day, you go able for read in much more detail, waiting we don't achieve. But family them, I still I just share today some of the things that really make me heart gladdy pan this walk here. One thing we're really glad about, now the wastewater treatment plant where we don't build na King Tom. This is not the first time ever in the history of Salone for let we get the thing they will come on the toilet. Instead of it just gonna grow na King Tom, it actually go into a plant where they get for separate the solid from the liquid and get for treat them and waiting for come out can go towards manure. It can now be safely the liquid can now safely be disposed into the waterways. Another practical thing we are so glad for. Now this urban farming project, we bring over 300, in fact we start with 300, now we add another 200 women them. We now at them backyard them and in community level, particularly in deprived communities.
And you can create this, where you give, the okra they come up, they will plant them.
The women they do farming projects where go benefit them picking them for get more nutritious food, but it go also help them for get small thing at the hand as they sell them in the market. And then their nursery school. Family then go no say we've been done open the one at Congo Water Market for make vulnerable women them and then young picking it under the age of 5 get free quality preschool care. And now we dip and build the second one. We do refurbishment upstairs in the Freetown Road Market, and that facility will be open and available to women and men traders inside Freetown Road Market. Tricycles. Well, then tricycle and they not only then they help for keep we city clean, they also they create employment. We don't create so far over 1,200 jobs with young people then where they go and collect dirty na the streets. And now we get 90 more where they come on stream. So I'm so happy because it increased the capacity for collect dirty. At the same time, it increased the number of people them, young people that we get work. Let not talk and not talk about the transfer station when I did the dirty then they go. So we don't get 4 additional ones, including the one at Lumley, the one at Approved School, the one at Shell, and the one at Allentown. Bele Uman them. Then they all over the community. That journey for going to PCMH, it can challenge Boko of them. So we did work for upgrade 5 of we PHUs them for make them be monk, side with side Bele Uman, they able for born. Freetown people them, Boku people that know say dog na challenge na this city. And so we don't start a program for sterilize, vaccinate the dogs them so that we go get control over dogs and we the ambog motaman, but we the ambog themselves. We go make we city healthier and it go reduce the risk for let people then get us sick with and call rabies. I don't share small about wait we don't do and over these 3 years, but I just touch the Tinem Boku. I go say anybody who wants for no more. Also go now with Facebook page. We get Freetown City Council Facebook page. We also get Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, Mayor of Freetown. You go able for follow we. Let we continue for work together with all we stakeholders for let collectively we transform Freetown. Una, thank you and God bless you.
Na Yvonne, Na Yvonne, talk and go, talk and go.
Well, Fambulem, una don't watch the video. That's now an account of the Transform Freetown Agenda, where the Freetown City Council been released on the mayor in 3rd anniversary in office. So we will say from where then start the Transform Freetown Agenda. When I don't see for ourselves, and definitely we will bring the mayor coming. But for you, just to join we have, in our studio, now we London studio, Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, where they do an exclusive with we today for tell we about the successes, challenges, and the future of Freetown City Council under in leadership, as well as the Transform Freetown Agenda. Mayor, welcome back, and thank you so much. We don't see the video, so we don't see the picture, we don't see everything, but sometimes they say, they near God, you go try for talk to the angel them. So you they under, we need to equate you that, but you did it. So you self tell me, where you they watch that video day today, everything we did in at school, and are there other things where you not be able for future, where you want for tell people about as part of the achievements of the Transform Freetown Agenda?
Yes, of course, so much more they foresee, but I will be remiss for let I go so far in all of this without I begin to tell thank you to all the one that we don't make anything possible, because so far they are mayor, that one man, one woman. Nobody know they work in one grain. So the importance for let I talk and just recognize, say all this we do so. Again, the councillors, the 48 elected councillors, where they work in their wards them, where anything we do, you get for sitting award. So I want to thank them. Of course, we get the FCC staff. We then said get a role for play, and then said don't you play as people in the sanitation committee, the sanitation team, for example, we so hardworking, and so many others. And of course, the mayor's delivery units, we then said we play a really important part. So I just want to say thank you. Now moving on, the video show, but now video, you only have so many minutes. So you can capture everything. I'm going to run through very quickly some additional things then. So under remembering, say, Transform Freetown gets a structure, right? Four clusters, 11 priority sectors. So under environmental management, we're the #1 priority sector. We know about the tree planting. Freetown, the tree town, where we electronically tag and track. So you can go on a tracker, on an app, you go on and you go see everyone. Not so joko. You can see every one of them trees. And then a big work for do them million trees. We don't do 256 last year. We've got 350 about to go on with the implementing partner EFA, led by Tony Garnett, with World Bank funding. And we don't actually, and this is one of the things, one of the big benefits of this international interaction, we don't apply for funding from a competition with Bloomberg Philanthropies. Okay. We were one of 631 cities. We make the top 50. My colleague in really lead the MDU, Manda Carbo, just don't do the pitch for being one of the top 15. If we win that, that is $1 million for Freetown, the tree town. We're going to enable we for go beyond the million trees then where we don't even plant, and all of it will be judiciously, transparently, and accountably executed, because that is a hallmark of what we do. Transparency and accountability always.
Which type of specific trees are the front?
So we get, in the first phase, there were 12 species. So we get a combination. We worked with the Ministry of Agriculture, we worked with Jala, we worked with Survey College for get the right tech, and with a horticulturalist called Dr. Poon, where he said we give a lot of in time for make sure say we get the trees then for slope stabilization, as well as for make sure say, because we issue landslides. Yeah. You need for actually hold the soil. So we get the species in there, and of course we're about to do mangrove regeneration as well. Right. So it's a combination. You get backyard trees, but so that is one major achievement. Inside environmental management, again, we get flood mitigation I don't talk about, but we just go dig for the flood. We don't, through funding from various organizations, we don't able for construct over almost 2,000 2,000 meters of new drainage. Places like Cocker Street, places like Mellon Street, places like Bottom Oku, side and side, places on the hills.
So now the drainage system we will get access for they could clean them without any kind of issues with the old one and don't get in the bus.
So the thing is, the drains in Freetown, Noto Council building. Drains in Freetown are built by Eslari alongside the road. The drains that we really talk about are mainly in areas where they're off the main road.
Okay.
So you're talking about community places like in the Hill Station, and also in Dwazak, Somalia town. Some of the drains and even tree planting. I already talk. I picture them. You know, place their way them. They get massive flooding because the water go always training road. So that has been a major investment. Then you go on to in the area of I go come last to urban planning and housing because that has been a real challenge. Because I remember I started with the Local Government Act. Now only afterwards we can find out what the Local Government Act say, not only they happen in practice. So things that the Local Government Act say devolved, particularly land use planning and building permits, aren't devolved in reality. So things that we want to do under urban planning and housing have been challenged because we're not getting mandate. But we also get revenue mobilization. And T-Boy and Juma, I don't say you want to let me dive into property rates, so I will jump up now and go into the next cluster, the human development cluster. And then you get education. So you saw the pictures of the nursery, Nakongowata, where we don't build for the market women. The nursery has been completed in Kuta Road Market, where by September, I'm so excited, we're going to open up. That is life-changing. That is providing quality education at the very start of their lives for some of the most vulnerable kids in society.
Give us a few examples of some of the benefits, because I know you don't see that transformation when there was nothing.
Yeah.
And you don't see the transformation now when there is something. What difference does it make with the livelihood of the beginning and the parent the way in that community?
Well, for me, when I look like Congo markets, I think something where you go take, maybe you take it for granted, but I know what it means. The day when we say let the mama them, the traders them, come forward and register them, picking them, the kind of a level of excitement for say, hey, we picking can go school. See, when we're not able to do from, not so because this is preschool now.
Yeah.
This is from 1 to 5. So if you're not able to pay for go private nursery, you're not under the table at the and that's where these kids work. So being able to give them that quality of education, that first morning, who that car with bow tie, who that car with lace, the kids were so excited and the moms were so proud. But you mentioned that the magic with this particular program, we've been getting an opportunity for partner with Job Search and Global Capital Platform on adult literacy. So we'll be able to enroll the mama them of their picking them. So they self-enrolled in adult literacy program. So mama the land, picking the land. And so we don't do Kuta Road Market, and that was funding from a philanthropist. Again, another reason why these engagements are so important.
Right.
A billionaire, and I'll give her credit, Ms. Sonia Gardner, Naeem provide the funding for those two, and it's going to take us through 2 years. And now we move forward for do drawings and plans for a third nursery, like Black Tank Market. So under education, we also don't provide hundreds of tables and chairs, and it's not enough. It's not enough. But family need to understand, say, under City Council, when you talk about municipal schools and what's under the council, things have really changed. So again, the Act, this lack of clarity. The Act say we as council are responsible for primary and to junior secondary school. But what does responsible mean? If we get a small budget, I think last year it was about 700 million. We had like $70,000, okay?
Yeah.
And we've got 614 or so schools, which have been approved by the ministry.
And these are the municipal schools?
No, the municipal schools are only 63.
Okay.
But all the other primary, and you have schools they call community schools. They're being approved, so then they come under you. But they don't get furniture, they don't get access. I mean, they're in a terrible state of disrepair. So one of the things that we've had to do, and we've focused on what we can do with the municipal schools as our first priority, has been to partner with all boys and all girls associations. So for example, Boris Johnson School, they've come together as an association.
Name few of the municipal schools in Freetown, because look, we'll not get two steps again.
Tower Hill, Thomas Peters, after the Kibo Beds, another one, and the I think that you might try for tell the school ain't go.
Yeah, exactly. I just want for tell una say me na a product of municipal schools too.
Yes, Fataraman.
And exactly, Fata. How did you know?
So Fataraman, we don't do a restructuring, a rebuilding of Fataraman.
Right. So I go Fataraman from class 1 to class 3, then transfer me to Dr. S.M. Broderick when I be neighbor school.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
The S.M. Broderick Fataraman are right next door.
Yeah.
We don't do just in this last year. I think now 100 chairs and tables. Now we do na Fataraman, or is it 200? And then we begin our school, and they call E.B. Williams School, and they call Black School. With funding, I must acknowledge, make it happen, because they help me and fund them we able for knock down that palm body. Was like a hanger and the
tank
for concrete structure. And this year we were able to provide them with tables and chairs. And so this is a lot, but it requires a lot of resources.
Wow, Mayor.
We also, I guess, on top of the school cluster mentorship program, what we do with Educate and Rising, because it's not just about having a physical structure, it's also about the leadership of the school, in the school, and so we get a school mentorship program.
Femi is this school not to just 4 walls?
Not to 4 walls, not to 4 walls at all. It's what goes on in the school.
Yeah.
So we support with leadership training, with basically agreed. We worked with the ministry and with the Teacher Service Commission for agree on 13 sort of minimum standards, basic criteria, where we expect, say, every school for follow in terms of safety, in terms of school management, in terms of teaching and learning. And so we're in a process of doing this rollout through the school. So that's education. Then you come on to health. And in health, from education you go to skills development. Skills development, I'll touch briefly on the digital learning, which we really do, the functional literacy.
Okay.
But beyond that, one of the sanitation programs is also very much, Freetown the Tree Town. Did I talk about that?
Yes, you talked
about I talk about the jobs that created.
No, you haven't
so
talked about
that bring them on the skills.
Okay.
Because under skills, what you do is you're actually able, through other sectors, who say you create jobs, you make sure saying that job creation comes with skills development, training, and mentoring.
Like which kind of skills development?
So for example, we get 553 in the last batch, and we'll have another 500 plus in this batch of tree growers. So then you learn about tree planting, then you learn about tech, because of course, as I tell you, that digital tracking that they do. And the funny thing about where we can do on our program, you go see posting now the type now Facebook say, hey, what's that the tree then day? I'll let them go now in fact we go put them on the when I come on the Facebook page after I put the link there so that I can actually check the trees and you'll see that real something. If I just can't remember the app, I think it's Freetown Tree Tracker app, but I'll double check. So you've got those skills. But one of our biggest skills development sectors has been with sanitation, where over 1,500 young people have been trained, not just in how to deal with waste, but how to run a business. And I mean, this can really please me hard. I remember when we did the first lot, and we had the induction. I walked into the room, St. Anthony's we do. This was in 2019 with the EU funding for get the first 60 tricycles. It was then followed up with another 20 from IOM. And now we've been able to raise another 40 from Mayor's Migration Council. And you'll say, why Mayor's Migration Council? Because the lack of skills, the lack of jobs is what drives people to look for a better life elsewhere. So actually me being on the leadership board of the Mayor's Migration Council, has actually given us access and opportunity for make the case. Because when I first began to meet with mayors, we struggle with, mayors in Greece, mayors in Italy.
That's mayors in different parts of the world.
Yeah, but people, when they were looking at migration, they were always looking at it from the perspective of, people people in the Cannabis cities, the African migrants in the Cannabis city, how we get to absorb them, how we get to welcome them. And I turn this conversation around. I say, how we get to stop them from going? let me see what we can do, where we build. So under the skills development as well, and Mayor's Migration Council, we get a link up with the mayor of Milan, where we call the Mayor's Dialogue. And inside that one day, we get a project now where we build the links between the fashion industry, because Milan is famous for fashion, and our industry, fashion industry. So people like Madam Woki, people like Mohammed, I see his face now. I think his name is Juan. He's a male designer. Sorry, I can't remember his name's not on my head. People like, of course, Diva Mix, Mary Carroll. They're all a part of building this project. We go enable we for market, we own designs them Milan for grow the industry, grow jobs. But of course, as I said, we've already created over 1,500 jobs just in the sanitation sector, another 500 with the tree planting. So education skills, then you come to job creation with the tourism focus, which is very much linked already, like I've said, because with COVID, we always with the tourism was, we're not the ones who are going to build the hotels, but what we want to do is create an environment. So one of the things we did in 2018, 2019, and if I work with the local content agency and run a series of workshops for students in tourism, for just open their minds, discuss things, give them a wider perspective of what our tourism industry could be.
So just for them to build their initiative of how they can work within the tourism
Obviously,
industry.
COVID just kind of like put all them plans and they on hold for now. But moving on, our fourth sector in human development is persons with disability. And there, we don't work with persons with disability. We have a working group, these technical groups I mentioned. Every single one of these sectors has a technical working group. Okay. And with persons with disability, we don't support them with cash transfers with WFP during COVID. We work now with a particular organization. First, during 2019, there's a group called the Cotton Tree Disabled. We've been tapping on the Cotton Tree. Yeah, I know them. You know them? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So in working with them on this whole thing about what should our city look like, we actually agreed with them they would move from Cotton Tree and that we would provide housing. So we would provide rent for them and then go finally place them for 1 year. Okay. And the idea was to sustain that. But we faced challenges in 2019 on property rates, which we'll come to, which meant that we couldn't keep it going. But we are working on a model for build skills and training. There is one group not one group, but this particular group are really, really special. And that's the United Polio Brothers and Sisters. Then they shall, in fact, it's where we have got one of our transfer stations is part of where they used to occupy. Okay. But we worked with them to rejig that space. Right. Why I mention them? They're an example of a group of persons with disability living in community. We're very, very self-sufficient through their trade and their skills. Inside that area, then you do car mechanic work, then you do electronics, then you do tie-dye, then you do carpentry, then you do welding. I mean, they're so impressive. So we don't say, if you don't scrub your back, then let me eat the water. Yeah. So we're working now with them to actually raise funds to build a structure, a proper training, because they live in community, but to enable them, and they actually train able-bodied people. So able-bodied people, and they go land welding to them. So
because I just want to make mention, say, for the fact they create the initiative for me to understand, say, yes, you can be not able, but at the same time,
no, they do. I'm not so we create they do. No, I know. They were doing it. So we want really support.
Like they enhance what they do.
So Mayor,
take the Cotton Tree guys into accommodation for me to realize there is more to life than just what they believe in. It's also a great move.
T-Boy.
Because they need to get inside and go get them bread and butter. Right. So we needed that extra money for set them up in business so that they could, or in some sort of livelihood. Because if not, then at the end of the day, when the rent runs out, they go back, and that's where the joined up, sort of government comes in. Okay. That's where the city council can't do all these things, by itself because we don't get funding for do that one day. But we also no, but you get Ministry of Social Welfare, and that's where these things really need to come together.
At least they can work together in terms of what you guys are doing, and then they can carry on with the other stuff then. So everybody get for play role. But so
far we don't reach human. I don't reach human development. I don't reach health here too.
Why?
I don't want to cluster there too.
I know. I come back to that. I want for now for let me for lead you on to the part of it. But which I just want for say few things, because sometimes they look at successes or achievements. We just look at the one way they before we are. We know they look at the bigger picture here. What's waiting based on your explanation, which we don't see. It's not just Freetonians benefiting. It's not just Freetown benefiting. They go beyond Freetown, the benefit. And there's another thing where we don't notice is that you not try for reinvent the wheel. Waiting already exists. Now you try for work with, enhance them, and try for get them another level. But let people they add meaning and value to waiting they already been done. They do. Show say everybody be done. They contribute. You talk about something about funding. So how all their work here, so all their big things here, so because therefore know how all this been funded. Is it the council? The revenue collection? Is it aid agencies? Is it central government? Is it private people or taxes? How all these activities then get funded?
Thank you, Jima. Very good point. As I may talk, most time when I say something, I tell you something, I tell you where the money come out. So what when you try to say you what when I say IOM, and I try for me to say I keep people along. But you might say I do because that's so me time. And you hold your question and you finish it and they talk first.
All right, okay. You win. Let's go.
All what you don't say so far, you make references of who started the funding they come out and you collaborating partners and where they fund.
Yes. So
not quickly.
So
no. I just want clarity. You understand? We're dealing with our audience.
But I just want to make sure say I touch on this sector. Cluster winner, the healthy city cluster, because on the healthy city we get health, we get water, we get health, we get sanitation. So on the water, what are the big things then? Well, COVID make me accelerate some issues. So we don't provide rainwater harvesting systems. There are 130 communities. But we also don't make sure say every market gets tank. And we don't get in a battle, Guma, and no say we get for end this battle for make sure say all of them connected. But it's a bit complicated because they will tell you about some connection we don't pay bill for almost years and this and that, but we're working on it because we want to make sure say every single market get water. And speaking of markets, within the process, with the first market, which was unfinished, is being completed. It will be done by the end of this year. That and money from Bloomberg philanthropies, but also 50% from Bloomberg, $200,000, and then 50% from council, another $200,000, which are roughly around $4 million. So let me build this 3-story market where you get a community center on the top. So that is construction, which is currently ongoing. The other thing where they go on, we don't do refurbishments, big markets, don't get a facelift. Kusa Road, we don't paint, we don't fix doors, we don't fix windows, we don't fix steps. Kusa Road market and big markets. We don't do 15 markets, uplifts within the markets. And we now by waiting in markets, people and tell we say their need. And one of the cries when the people in the talk way having to go around is that toilets not in any market.
Yep.
Every market get toilets now. The only markets we don't get toilets now are Abacha. Because we're not able to fence side. We're not able, no, that is road. Abacha na street market. We're not able to fence side. Abacha chair lady, the chairman, the traders council, Oma Waka, nobody not able for fence side. We say we go put a mobile toilet even. But every other one of the 42 markets in Freetown now gets a toilet.
Yeah, ask for your main market. Bombay Street market.
Bombay Street market gets toilet.
Okay.
And Bombay Street market, Bombay Street market is a market where we also really hope for do some major structural work. If you know Bombay Street markets of recent times, you can also they not use the upstairs.
Yeah.
because not structurally sound.
Not of recent times, years.
Yes,
I mean,
but you can get them different talk. People like you say that it's tofu, not tofu or tofi, then it's tofi. And then if you go up, but I think that the main issue is that structurally not sound.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of work with markets, and we also have gone through a bidding process, and we get a private developer will come in for do a state-of-the-art improvement for King Jimmy, Petersburg, Aberdeen, and Allentown. By God in power, as soon as I get back, we go sign that contract. It's gone through all the council processes, ultimately approved, and we be ready for go. So that will really increase capacity of market space by about 7,000 people. Wow. So that will make a big difference in this. We continuous battle for get people off the street.
Yeah.
And training on the streets is like, it's so complex because people like you to say it's just a simple question of saying, let it go inside market. But the reality is the lack of jobs in the country now, the lack of jobs, a lot of people don't lost their work. Work noddy. Which are the easiest things for let you do? Get microcredits. Microcredit is unregulated. And junks importation unregulated. So for as long as you get continuous junks and person able to go take that junk stay on loan, now that's really seen our streets. So it's really, when I came in 2018, if you talk to the traders, the real market people, they will tell you the one that within the streets now to trader. Then are hustlers. Because the person will have been traded. Then we will get the numbers.
He's still occupying table.
He occupying table. But some people that really move on the street, but not to like now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen such an explosion. And that explosion they also come because we've seen such a growth of rural urban migration.
Yeah.
Either the lack of jobs in the rural areas, the fact that there has not been the sort of job creation we was promised, in the rural areas, in outer Freetown, has meant that we don't see an influx of people into the city.
Because they believe Freetown is the only way they can make money, they have to come in.
Yeah, and that puts more pressure on the city, puts more pressure on housing, puts more pressure on sanitation.
Yeah.
So it's really, the solution is not just about what happens in Freetown. The solution is very much about what happens in the rest of the country. But coming back to health, so we don't talk a little bit about water. And we get a UNCDF project. We also will build, I think we're working on 40 more public toilets, 15 more public toilets and 40 water kiosks around the city. And that feasibility study ongoing now. So we're really working on water.
So which one is it for manage? The water tanks or the pipe-borne water?
So pipe-borne water is not on the council, as you know.
Oh.
Now Guma Valley Water Company, and Guma reports to the ministry. The mayor sits on the board of Guma, but as a board member. But Guma really is responsible for running the network.
Can you guys work in collaboration?
But we do. Even when we do even when they do the water tank, you still don't forget trucking of water in the dry season.
Right.
So Guma is actually one of our really great partners.
Okay.
So we work well together. We have a good engagement.
So that means the water.
But we work well together does not mean that we. So Guma gets your own agenda, Guma gets your own mandates, Guma gets your own resources and your own challenges.
Right.
And we get our own. What do we do in terms of off-grid water, I would call it, non-network water, that they really go dig wells, boreholes, that they really bring in. So for example, when I say water kiosks, now boreholes, we will do. So that's going to complement because Guma doesn't reach everywhere in Freetown. And even Usai Guma they reach, sometimes there are challenges, with the water availability. And that comes back to the tree planting. So for we really support Guma with the tree planting because the deforestation where they go on now, they really put water shortage at the top of the agenda. There was a video some time back where you see there was this news program actually with the Minister of Water and the Deputy Minister of Water literally plead with the Minister of Lands for saying, I don't know if you see that video today, stop for building land so close to the dam. And even outside the Nogi land, there is so much illegal, but also legal. That's a scary thing. Legal construction going on in the water catchment areas, in protected areas. So we challenge is that if that doesn't stop, whatever we do,
because we rely on the rainforest.
Exactly. So the trees will help with that water cover.
Yeah.
But in really critical for land, we know the plant trees, and then the trees are to be cut down. So that is another factor. Sticking with health, healthy city, so beyond water, health. Two very exciting achievements in health. One, the fact saying by God's own grace, and Juma, just coming to your point about where does this funding come from? Amazing amounts of networking.
Right. We want to know the secret. Through
a network, we've been able for access. I was able to have that conversation with a donor. They actually want to remain anonymous, so I'm not going to name them. But we were able to bring a partner, Mayor Aki-Sawyerr Foundation, to the table into that conversation and raise $3.85 million. Way now for the starting of a post-grad course for pediatrics and gynecologists. So we have not, one of the reasons why so many women die at childbirth is that we don't have enough gynecologists. We don't train them in country because we don't have a post-grad
system. I have only on one pediatric doctor in Syria.
I think we have more than one, but the numbers are very small. So that funding, obviously that has to be the work itself is done with the College of Medicine and Postgrad School of Medicine. So the Ministry of Health has a significant role to play in all of this. But I'm really, really excited that we as FCC, because we had that target of reducing maternal mortality, we're able to go out there into the market, go out there into the funding networks and bring that donor to the table. Right. The other thing that's going on in terms of health very directly, the other two things. One, because we targets, can not only talk about the targets, but our targets for health, one of reduced maternal mortality, the other one of reduce non-communicable diseases, to increase awareness about things like hypertension, diabetes, etc. So with the maternal mortality, obviously, being able to secure that funding, working with the Mayor Aki-Sawyerr Foundation, that was amazing. But also, we don't able, and I've just been to Greybush and Ross Road, we're about to do a third one. We're not able for expand or convert an ordinary PHU to a maternity center. So Greybush used to be able to have one bed. It can now hold 5 maternity beds. I think I was there just the week before I came. And Ross Road could hold 1. The Ross Road, I think, just can now hold, yes, Ross Road now has a maternity, a labor, and a postnatal.
So you see an additional unit or just extended?
We extended. Okay. We actually built an extension with Greybush, where they used to have the under 5s clinic, which is an outdoor space, is now actually a maternity suite. It's actually a labor ward. Is it a labor ward? It's a postnatal. So you've got the labor ward and the coming postnatal. And at Rosswood, we're also able to do a small space for minor surgeries as well. That the nurse wanted. So the other thing, of course, is moving away from the facilities now to lifestyle. So
the lifestyle is where the
So in the markets, we only work with Korean Healthcare, one of the partners, and again, it's been Bloomberg funded, Bloomberg Healthy Cities, to do a campaign with market women for low sodium intake. And we are also hopefully some of the challenges, the internal challenges when we face the council will lead to some elements of dysfunctionality in the way that the council administration works, has made this a slower process. But we plan to run a marathon in November. It's likely that's going to be late in the year. And parts of running a marathon.
We'll go ask a little bit more about the challenges then, but I'm sure we don't say a few questions about, if you don't know the health part of it, let's talk about the property rate and property tax, because that may be bank aid small. Then, we'll talk about the challenges them a little bit later on, if that's okay with you. Because people them in grumble, some man say wow for pay property tax, some man not even know say something like that been exist. Okay, there's some man grumble say how me get 3-story building and they pay this, somebody get pan body say they pay past 3-story building, all that kind thing there, whether it was true or not, but we hear it and so far from the initial teething problems, you're able for people and not be able for accepting them for pay, and why it's important for people and pay tax, because we want more. They see that the chat group, people are asking for a lot of things the way they want to let the council do, but you know, why it's important for pay tax. So talk to me about the property rates and all of that thing, please.
So sanitation, right?
Yeah.
I would say if anything they weigh as a mayor, people that you hold you responsible for, it's keeping your city clean.
Clean, yeah.
That's a very costly exercise. And for we in Freetown, I mean, this keep your city clean, I can go TikTok. Not eat dirty in the street. You know, because we missed a meeting. It was a serious conversation, right? We missed a meeting with some media people a number of weeks ago, and I said to them, you know, we need to get the message across. Then I say, Mayor, when I write on Facebook, when I write essay, it's too long. People don't understand what they talk. You just need for just demonstrate, you know. Anyway, so that led to using a method of communication way more humorous, and we go capture the attention of more young people as well. So that's what led to that. Now, what are we doing sanitation? From changing behavior, which is not just about, you know, TikTok videos, really changing behavior. Anybody we don't study anything about change management psychology, you know it's a process. I will give you an example. I went to I do these school visits. I got 2 schools, and I can name them. Yes, one of me elementary, St. Joseph Secondary School. The other one of me Allentown, the secondary school in Allentown. On both occasions, I say to the beginner, I take water plastic. I say, how many people then the drink this? Oh man, everybody hand go up. That's okay, fine. When you drink and done, wait till you do it. Silence. Now still I get some contributions on the floor. Now somebody say, I did train a dustbin as an lie. That's okay. I want for them, show of hands, how many people just even have grown? Everybody. So Juma, don't tell you say, where will you sweep the streets? Where them young people then they grab and bathe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock morning. And the way it works is that we divide the city into 8 blocks. We get 48 wards. Every 6 wards now a block. Every block get a block coordinator. Every block coordinator, they in a group with me, Mayor. Every morning, I see the streets them. The photo, and obviously, I don't give me. I just glance. But every block they monitor. The ESO, the Environment and Safeguards Officer, and one way we call Mr. Bundu, where we manage the fleet in the east, and we get Sule in the west. All of them one day, we are all 24/7. We monitor the streets then when it's tricycle guys on the street. But I can assure you, say, how you see them sweep. The next minute, because if we don't ask 2 schools full of how many thousand beginning, what's they doing? What's they even have grown? Not to them no more. Yeah. So we've got this behavior change element, which is the cleaner zone competition. That is something that we need to pay for. We need those streets swept. We have 110 streets swept every day by 135 tricycle groups, and it costs over 400 million. They pay for their own fuel. So that money, if there's 6 of the group, that's about 19,000 leones each. You know how many of them end up in accidents? How many of them end up in a hospital? Because early morning, even when they hide this, they still get hit by cars. You know, they still have tricycle accidents. So it's a high risk job. and paying somebody 19,000, because it's not just 2 hours they're there.
Yeah.
If any problem, any dirty, we will call and say, group so and so, you know, una side we see dirty today, they have to go back there.
So
within
the hours span where they're in books for, or it's just something?
Well, I mean, if there's something like really dramatic, obviously, not to every plastic,
right.
But they have to do their sweeping for 2 hours, and then they do mop-ups, you know, through the day.
Okay.
So you've got that as an element. That is public space cleaning. We have the markets where we have our own fleet and FCC workers, the tricycle guys. We invested into them with the tricycles as part of a project, but they are businesses. So they do the household collection.
So they are paid every day for the work that they are doing?
They're paid for the street sweeping, but they pay themselves for the household collection. When I come into office, we looked at all the people where we registered people there for collecting dirty, asylum, etc. They reached 5,000 households. We're now at 40,000.
Wow.
But we need to go more. And that's why we need more of the tricycles. Because if you're not if personally collect your dirty, guess something happened to her.
You need to train about
it.
And then it goes.
Yes, you need to train about it. Or you train on being some schoolyard, or you train on water side, you are illegally dumping. Yeah. And all over the city we have.
And Mayor, quickly ask you based on which you talk, so, you know, because years back, we get major problem, particularly in the eastern part of Freetown between the Upgun area to Eastern Police, you know, that, you know, area there was a serious, you know, problem there with what they call dirty war. Somebody they take dirty in your place, you go put another person, conflict that they happen between neighbors and all of those things. Do you think since we una begin working? Sorry? So I mean, so you know ever hear about that since. So that means I don't try for see the impact where
it's huge.
Right. So now that I just want to forget to
me in Freetown.
Right.
In fact, one of the things that we don't do a lot is use technology.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go on your phone, even though you're in London now. If you go on your phone, you go www. If I don't do w, just to find me in freetown.com.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. It asks if you want to use your location. Obviously, since you're not in Freetown, don't use your location.
Right.
You can scroll through all the wards. You click on them. It gives you the names and the telephone numbers of all the collect dirty in your ward.
Wow.
So you can sit in your house. We also have 8244. Now, short code for Africell and Orange. If you see somebody illegally dumped, you can call 8244 and give you the details. Or if you get neighbor, when you cause problem with dirty, we send patrol team, then they come and address the issue. The public health aides officers, then they address the issue. If you not get an Android phone, you may go find me in Freetown. You can call 8244, then get a list. You go ask, say, I did at this area, then go tell you, say, that this person for call. Of course, with 40,000, we still have a big gap. Because we, for property rate, we have 120,000 properties. So we know that there are still many properties, but we've moved significantly. And the only thing stopping us from moving more is that we need more resources. We need more tricycles because it's a business. And this is why it's sustainable. Because for the young person, when you go collect your dirty, now walk in the walk. That's what it pays that. I mean, we don't get tricycle guys and we don't buy their next tricycle from this. And then they employ more people.
So they're building their own industry.
They're building their business, and by building their business, they're increasing the capacity for collection.
So would that be a problem if we get enough tricycles in Freetown or they get already congestion with both carrying and bikes?
No, I don't think it could be a problem at all. Because for one thing, you're talking about you have thousands of vehicles on the road. We're talking about 80 tricycles. You know, I mean, even if we take them to 300, which is what our calculations say we need, it's still going to be a drop in the ocean. You know, I mean, but it is absolutely essential. And there the transfer stations come in. And you know, so is the refusal, the fact that our transfer stations, which was funded by JFID, you know, as part of this ecosystem, the fact say, we have this administrative challenge where bizarrely, the administrative official has refused to sign, saying he doesn't understand it. Anyway, I think I want to focus on what we are doing, as opposed to what we're being stopped from doing. But once those transfer stations begin to operate, and I know DFID are very keen, you know, they've met with the Minister of Planning.
So the transfer stations are going to be meant for what?
So the transfer station, so I was trying to explain that this sanitation thing is a value chain. We start with behavior. So the cleaner zone competition, the TikToks, the social media, the conversations, to get the ambassadors. You know, we've got sanitation, we've got Transform Freetown ambassadors now. You know, I know I miss any of them, so I don't call it non-name. Actually, maybe I should do that just to give them a shout out. So we have Drizzlick, we have Laura, Sarah Laura Tucker, we have Adama, we have Mellow 7, we have Kinde Amani, we have Sergeant, we have who that don't left, you can't speak, if I don't let you, I am in trouble if I don't left anybody. But we have our ambassadors and they have been doing. Oh yes, we the TikToker, Peter comment. So we have been and we have an unofficial ambassador. I have to give him credit, Abdul Rahim Cole. We're not an official ambassador yet, but he's been doing an amazing job with getting our message out. Okay, so we get outside. Now coming back to the transfer stations. Yes. I don't tell you, say, the tricycles, because we could have gone down the route, where a lot of people can feel to say that's the way sanitation should be done. So let you get them big lorry them, where they go, host to host, you get them, beam them, you know, the Masana model. Yeah. But the thing with that is, we actually live in a very poor society, and 35% of the residents stay in informal settlements, and many people can't afford. Not only that, the roads are so bad. Yeah. There's such poor access. So there's a market for Masada and Mr. Clean and those guys, but there's a bigger market for the more agile, informal, small scale. So that's the route we've gone down so that we can really maximize collection. But everybody is welcome and we have them all registered. Now you want to collect waste in Freetown, you have to be registered with us. So that's how we get the primary Freetown, because we have that database. So with the transfer stations, the idea is that for those 8 blocks I want to tell you, for there you come out Allentown, which you tricycle, you drive all the way Kisibome. Now long distance. If you want to get unborn, the money where you collect for the waste, you don't use it all. Yeah. So the idea of the transfer stations is to have like mini depots where the tricycles come empty during the day, then at night or during, periodically in the day, we council move and go to the dump sites. So that's what a transfer station is. That's how it's designed. So like substation in different locations that will make access easier from the first place. Absolutely. And it was such a challenge to find the land. It was such a challenge to go through the construction. And we're really grateful to the UK government and the people of the UK for funding this. It cost over $1 million. Yeah, we enjoy my school. That's first. So let's put that in taxpayer. But here we are. We had the handing over in May. And as I sit here right now, the transfer stations and how they operate. And that's a whole other issue, which we will come on to the challenges. But that's hopefully by God's grace and power, because we are here to serve the people of Freetown. We're here to make sure, because if a tricycle able for use a transfer station, instead of being able to collect dirty from one host in 10 minutes, it will collect dirty from 5 hosts. Yeah. You see what I mean? Which means there'll be
it's just a common sense thing.
Sure.
Yeah. I say it's just a common sense thing to do, because like you say, you're able to serve more people, because what you need for do that for clearly dirty them outside day and allow them and for able for live a healthy life in the area. Then the council can manage it because they get expertise for manage the dirty in the transfer station until so I hope. So a question I will ask Mayor quickly when you talk about this sanitation issue. And the funding, because like you say, it's not cheap, are there more opportunities for private sector involvement in helping the council, where all man will benefit on this? We really encourage. In fact, there's a conversation going on right now with the bank for make easier for let other people then come into the market. Okay, so we don't get, we don't do 80, but you can do another 40, then another 48. So it will be almost 200 tricycles where we don't use donor funding for rates. But if you, Juma, want for go into waste management, why you not go buy a tricycle? You get people for run them. They can register in our council, but your uncle, you start your business. So we actually want for
encourage that as a model.
Okay.
And so for do that, we don't sit down with the bank and say, can you look at giving terms to, we know they come and we know they be part of our, but we just want facilitator. So we can now say this bank here, like how some man can go buy Okada, some man can go buy Keke. This bank here, don't willing for do this kind of here. If you want to go, exactly. If you want to like people able to pay, we will be very interested for let you do it because we as council want to see more people because the more we need to close that gap.
Right.
We need to not allow anyone to say, hey, I don't be able to get choices for my put on a pot. I don't be able to get what is a collect
but if actually creates enough and then scarcity, it also creates jobs.
Oh yeah, those are jobs. Because every single tricycle translates to between 6 and 10 jobs. Yeah. That's why I said we've created over 1,500 jobs. And these, I just want to say that Toko. I mean, you can meet these people. These are people. I mean, I was talking to a young lady the other day when they tell me, say, through these, you don't actually start a slipper business where you sell slippers as well for a side business. Other people don't take and pay school fee, don't take and send themselves to school. So I mean, it is work.
Yeah, but Mayor, we look at some like
tough work.
It's a tough work, but then work them doing now, then part of the world like us. It's serious work we're doing. It makes serious income.
And T-Boy is simple. You turn trash to cash. You help the council, help you, sir, because if you invest, you have young people in your area, in your community, that you bash every day that don't have anything to do. You guys body. Do a cooperative, a small group, buy one tricycle and kids change.
We talk about skills development.
Right.
So for the first 2 lots, and we'll do it again. Then we give them training. We need help them then they get a business mentor. Then we need them for actually go register as Corporate Affairs Commission as a cooperative. We need them for set up a bank account. So you're encouraging them to be a business, and then they actually fit into your value chain,
right?
And actually are a very integral part of how waste is collected in Freetown. So you move beyond that, and then you say what's going on with the dump sites. So there is the dump sites are both over 30 years old. They are in a terrible state, and so we have the time just keeping the fires off.
Right.
But we've just been able to secure funding from the Irish government for make me able to get water boreholes in each one. With the King Tom, thankfully, we don't build the fecal sludge treatment plants, which you saw in the video. Now, fecal sludge treatment plants, the output, that manure, that, we take out for make manure, but the other part of them, or fertilizer rather, the other part of them, now grey water. The grey water will take out a pump now into the King Tom, so that we're able to get a constant source of water for off the fires.
Right.
We also, of course, have to formalize. I mean, the Kissy Bomber will close. There's funding for a new landfill site, a proper landfill site. The site's being purchased in Hastings, and that will be built.
Okay.
But this is still 3 years down the road because it's such a long process, but it has started. The closure of the Kissy Bomber is really critical as well. But for closed something like that, simply costs money, and we haven't been able to raise that money. But I want to come now to I guess I'll talk about the cable car. My last sector, other mobility.
So this cable car, T-Boy, man, T-Boy and Femi, we don't debate this thing. We are working now, Mayor. You're so, I don't know, you're so ambitious, you're so confident, we let's go for imaginary aid. Mayor.
Fly over.
No, fly over.
Cable car in Freetown. It's like, how is
I'm gonna let for limit week. I'm gonna let for limit week.
I know. So the challenge me now.
The first cable car that was used. Okay, wait. Let me come back to this. Let's come back to this.
Yeah.
I will make you understand something.
Okay.
We have many causes of early death in our city.
Yeah.
Right. we underestimate the level of respiratory disease and the poor quality of the air.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to do some measurements. Waiting the people and tell we are 7 times over the recommended sort of pollution level, so to be acceptable with WHO say. So this cable car, wait till it do. There are multiple things. Why you feel to say we get this really bad air quality? Most of we traffic, we transportation, we don't have mass transit. We all know that.
Yeah.
We know that most people are traveling in Okadas or in low occupancy vehicles. So you taxi. Which do you think is the average age of taxi or Poda
Well, 50 years. 50.
So I want to tell you, say that are huge pollutants. All right, and if we're talking about climate adaptation and climate change, we as a country, we transport emissions that we're biggest emitter. That's our biggest emitter. So if we talk about climate change mitigation, we cannot ignore it. But if you're also talking about economic productivity, you also can't ignore it. Because if it take you in rush hour, if you for common alumni, for go up gone, you know how long you go take? You know how long you go take? It's about hours.
Right.
Yeah, wait they talk. And they just visual the cable car.
Wait me. It was 16 years ago that a mayor in a city like mine, the city of Medellin in Colombia, decided to tackle this problem. He was the first person. We don't sit down, we don't talk together. His team is working with our team. They have favelas, we own slums them, but they call these slums on the hillsides. They had crime problems. They had economic deprivation problems. When they're able to connect the center of the city to the favelas, they became tourist destinations. They improved the quality of life of those people.
I've seen that.
The quality of life people grew. And obviously, one of the things that people can talk about, and he say, when the lights go off. Well, I want to say, we don't rely on the grid. Not for EDSA, we rely on.
So Mayor, you say you can listen. So you can listen the question.
No, we actually get a town hall just on this.
Right.
The Medellin team on the town hall on the Zoom. We had, of course, our team. We had the Focus team, where we tried to build a similar system. So we had the institution of engineers that they host me. So this is a very serious conversation, and we have 3 applications in now. Where the manufacturer of the cable car don't come Freetown. The Institute of American Architects have also come to Freetown because then they work with me for do the designs for the stations.
Okay.
So this is very real.
I'm just looking at the whole vision and it thinks, okay, who's that in the beginning to the first concrete pillar from the cable?
We don't look all. They don't look all.
There's all the visibility done.
Yeah, they've done a pre-feasibility, so high level. So now we don't apply for full funding to do the detailed feasibility.
And then I look at the airspace.
Of course they have. The professionals have come. Professionals not like you, T, but when it's a professional, but the actual engineering people there from the company when you make the cable cars them that they don't come.
Definitely the cable car will be of great
so
importance.
You will cut travel time.
Yeah, sure.
You'll be the lines that we looked at. And of course, where there's a will, there's a way, huh?
Sure.
So I think what we need to do as Sierra Leoneans, is stop limiting ourselves.
No, we're not
and really begin to look at, I can often say I'm fiercely proud to be Sierra Leonean, and yet so ashamed very often when I look at where we are on the global stage. Why should we be third from the bottom as a nation? Why? I don't get it. Like, we have all the minerals, we have the fish, we have we don't want to have the timber because we actually don't want to deforest our whole country, because that also has very serious
But that can be a serious form of finance as well, because they can plan for for timber logging. They can plan for that.
Yeah, but what's going on now is
It's not
indiscriminate timber
that,
logging, which is destroying our ecosystem, it's destroying biodiversity, it's destroying tourism potential, it's destroying water catchments. So that's not what we want.
Definitely.
But as a nation, we can and should do much better than we're doing. So coming back to Juma's point. So Juma, so we done John. So those were our 11 priority sectors, and I just touched, and I'll talk about all team really do. We don't talk a little bit about these various things.
Yeah.
And I must say as well, we're also working with waste transformers. They're longer to pilots in Aberdeen of transforming organic waste to energy. And that's giving power to the Aberdeen Women's Centre. We're now looking.
I was just about to ask about the Bomber sites.
We're not
the bomber used for energy purposes.
So that really needs a lot of work. Okay, but on a smaller scale, well, and we're open. We just have not had anyone come. We get the right sort of. I mean, they don't do a feasibility study where you will get confidence in for move forward.
Okay.
But what we able to do with this on a micro level. I look like Sejumari talked to me. What we're able to do on a micro level is be able for on a smaller level, not micro, but on a smaller level, we're able to look now at working on scaling that model of the organic waste to energy.
Right.
And we're looking at placing a bigger plant inside the fecal sludge treatment plant day, because the theoretical body is not organic waste.
Yeah.
So we'll be able, so since we're producing fertilizer, composting and producing fertilizer back, we can actually try and build that as a bigger model. So we're in direct conversations now with Freetown waste transformers and waste transformers in Holland. And I think that, I mean, there's so much else going on, but I think this gives a bit of a flavor.
And this is one of the flavor, because what you've just said to us don't open up why the vacuum of what you don't face and what you don't do, and how far you don't deal with some of the issues there. Like you said clearly, we should not limit ourselves, because when you come into the seat of mayor, I don't think you expect say you will begin to nursery schools, markets, places, and everything. I did. But all that don't change. No, you have the intention, but again, as a layman sitting down, I'm thinking, is that going to be possible? You're able to convince those mothers to say, I can't put nursery on our home there or on our marketplace then for living, I get that kind of interaction. So a lot has changed. So definitely, there's a lot of stuff we don't do where me personally not going to take them as a tax for say I'm able to achieve all this within a short period of time. So that's a lot of compliments to you for the fact that you think very wide for salon. Definitely it is possible. But you have to look at now how you therefore change that day. But that's getting back to Juma.
Yeah, T-Boy, listening to the mayor, I'm very proud to be a Freetonian, a Sierra Leonean, but a Freetonian particularly. And Mayor, I want to say congratulations to you and your team for the achievement so far, because, and I'll tell you now, I was going to challenge for that seat as well. I don't know whether you know that. Yeah. So. Yes. I had intentions, but then, listening to which you don't do so, not get no regrets backing out.
Oh, that's
T-Boy and Femi, they knew that, I had intention, because me na Freetown Bobo, and I want for see the city grow, to where TB. And so far, we can't fix what's not broken. What you've achieved so far is unprecedented. We're not going to say other people don't do that much, but you've done a lot for take the council within a short space of time. And also not just within the country, but how you don't take them for let it be, go global as well. For those, that's important, but people will not see the benefit of that now, but hopefully over time. Because if we're saying that we want to brand Sierra Leone, we want to change the image of Sierra Leone, we want people out there to know that good things are coming from Sierra Leone, that we are serious about changing, the norm. So, but anyway, let's go to, you've talked a lot about your, the mayor delivery unit, okay? And we don't hear a lot of things around here and there, but tell us about this delivery unit. What did it bring different to the operations, the activities, and, the acceleration we don't see so far in terms of service delivery? Or is there, because we know there's a conventional or the usual kind of council operation, and then you bring delivery units. Did it, what was it all about? Tell us.
So thanks again. I've been saying earlier on, you make a statement. You say, I like the fact that we don't reinvent the wheel. And I want to go back to that because the delivery unit is not a reinvention of the wheel. Now, using a tried and tested methodology of bringing private sector processes and approaches and increased technical expertise into the public sector. The first delivery unit was introduced by Tony Blair. And I get a privilege and pleasure for actually he's the team member, we design them, create them. And that was the sort of framework which was used for the president's delivery team, which I had the privilege of leading after Ebola. So the content of the delivery unit, I remember at that time, I had a meeting with Tony Blair, and he said, one of the things he said was, what would be really helpful to you? And I said, to talk to other delivery units. And so he organized the first delivery exchange, and this is now an annual event in Africa. And we had it in Nairobi.
So you mean other delivery units?
Around Africa in particular. So we had then the Rwanda team, who work in the president's office in Kigali. We had a team from a governor in Kaduna State. So that's looking at a subnational level. We also had the education ministry delivery unit from Liberia. So you see that the concept of a delivery unit is not specific to national government, to a local authority, but it's just a question you can have it in a ministry.
Right.
And I know that in Sierra Leone, the Minister of Education, Basic Education, recently created delivery units as well. So the introduction of the delivery unit was because it's a tried and tested method of accelerating prioritized delivery, because very often institutions are structured in a way which are historic. So, for example, if you look at the Local Government Act and the departments where they say local council forget, you get environment and safeguards, you get finance, you get valuation, you get license. You don't have anything that deals with a cable car. And yet the city needs one. You have municipal trade, you have the engineering department, but you don't have anything. We don't have a health department. There's devolved sectors that, and of course, in all what we do, I must give credit to the DMO, our district medical officer, Dr. Kamara, and all your teams. We partner with them, but at the council, within the council itself, there's no one with a health focus. If we want to talk about planting 1 million trees, where does that sit within the existing structure of a council? It doesn't. So there are, and then you've also got the question of project management and resource mobilization externally and international. So you've got a foreign protocol. But what I've seen, and coming in as the mayor, I didn't know this, but I've obviously since interacted a lot with other mayors, Mayor of New York, Mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor of London. What you really get there is then they appoint their own staff for head areas of focus.
So areas of delivery, whether it's primary. And they always have, somebody for climate. We don't have anyone for climate, air quality. There's so many things that we, sort of very, very important. And then there's a question of numbers as well. So if you look at the staff where we meet that council, we have about 500 people. When I look at my colleague in Durban, we get similar size population to we, 4,000. So I mean, there's just, if you want to move from where we are, and you don't say you want to transform Freetown,
it means you've got to do things differently.
Yeah.
And to do things differently, something's got to be different. And so that change, and it's very important to also recognize that councillors are policy makers. Councillors are not staff of council. They play a very important role of oversight, running committees, coming to monthly meetings, providing bouncing, and of course, within their communities, then are very, very important political leaders, and those who inspire and can galvanize grassroots movements. But they are not the staff. And the staff numbers, when you look at that 500 and so or so, over 100, about 110 are Metropolitan Police, who are very important, and we need more of them. But when it comes to the agenda of Transform Freetown, it was clear that we needed to tap into more resources. So that was the thinking. Now, what is it comprised of? That's very important for people to understand. Mayor Delivery Unit is not a static unit. It's very fluid. I would say 70% at a given point in time, as many over the period of time, as much as 70% of those people have been volunteers.
So they're not on salary, or they're
volunteers. So they come from all over the world. So we get a core, a small core. We don't dig through from the start. And most times they're on projects. So, if there's a World Bank project, they advertise. Anybody can apply.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are on a World Bank project that is, for example, let's say doing the cable car, or a Guma project doing, so there's a Guma project now, which is working on these additional tricycles. The person who's in that project they hired her, international bid, she's from Rwanda. She sits in the Mayor's Delivery Unit. We consider her part of the Mayor's Delivery Unit because what she's doing is aligned to the Transform Freetown Agenda. But we also have had maybe 30 people from cities as far off as Jakarta, Tokyo.
Not directly from Sierra Leone, but just.
As I'm saying, they come from all over. So okay. The Mayor's Delivery Unit comprises international and local volunteers. It comprises people who are working on donor-funded projects, because remember, I brought the donors in at the beginning. So when waiting donors are due, they're all, if you go to EU, go to DFID, go to Irish Aid, they're all waiting to do. Then they make reference to Transform Freetown. Because they're from Transform Freetown, because when we were doing the planning labs, the donors themselves were sitting in those sessions. So we planned all together. So waiting and you fund is what we have done. Now, someone like DFID will always fund through NGOs because it's their policy. With EU, it depends on the specific funding. Right. Some come directly to the council, some, depending like COVID, went through an NGO. World Bank will always go through the Ministry of Finance. So every donor gets your own setup, your own model. MMC might work with a local NGO. We're not even one of the ones that we don't work with before. Right. So all man get a model. So if you're working on a Transform Freetown project funded by a donor, we consider you Mayor's Delivery Unit. If you are if you've come from McKinsey, so like from McKinsey all over the world, San Francisco, Boston, people come for 3 months. They come for 5 months. Some men come for 3 weeks. We get people from Harvard, we get people from Columbia, because Transform Freetown has become a bit of a global phenomenon. So it's something which, I've been invited now to be a visiting fellow at the University of Pennsylvania. I've provided lectures for the Norman Foster Foundation for their School of Urban Planning. So we get a lot of people coming in and providing that support. And our delivery team lead manager, Carpo, has a very important role to make sure that all of these people are integrated and that we work closely with the FCC, that they work closely rather, with the FCC administrative staff that are already there. Some man can tell me, because the thing about councils is about being a mayor, is that there's a whole family of mayors, and then it's already talk to men at different parts of the world. It is so funny because we all get the same experience. So I talked to one American mayor when he tell me, his staff say, we be here where you, and then African American, you see, we be here we come, we be here where you go. None of the staff of the council, we're not going to come, we know every day. And when you come in as a political authority and as an elected official, firstly, we don't campaign or say, I want to deliver this.
Yeah.
Give me a mandate so I can do this for you. It's very important that you're able for, you know, get a working relationship, but also that you get that support, you know, from the administrative staff. Right. And I remember one, not even just one, I've had this said to me a number of times by council staff. When people are passing on to me say, Mayor, you make a proud for our council. It's the first time we shame. When they say they want to okay, I don't want them to know. Yeah. They say, but with always what they do, I say I lift my head up high. You know, and that's really, really encouraging. And as I said earlier, nobody on islands, nobody know they do all things is there. If we're able to sit down and talk about success of Transform Freetown today, and because we've been a team, it's been the councillors, it's been the staff, it's been the MDU, and it's also been our partners. You know, it's been MDAs that we've partnered with, you know, that we've worked with. And of course, it's been Freetonians. Because Freetonians then don't buy this vision. And I'm really, really excited when I can see.
Now, you want to know buy because it's not go for
T-boy, I don't know T-boy.
You say it? You say it?
I said I don't want to buy it, but
no. Me are the first person who buy the Transform Freetown Agenda, and I'm sucked into it at the follow. And you know, because like what you say, development or change not happen by magic. Yeah. Okay, it takes people, it takes ideas, it takes passion, it takes the political will to do these things. Yeah. Because we all want better for Freetown, but what are we doing? We've seen people, we all cry, oh, we want diaspora involvement. So if people are volunteering to help, I think we should just encourage the idea for able to achieve more, because then contribution is for the benefit of all.
Absolutely. And it's really important because, I mean, you know, there's been some misunderstanding. No donor, not the fund Transform Freetown, and not know that actually. No donor, not the fund a member of the Mayor's Delivery Units, and not know that actually. People are very clear about the fact that the Mayor's Delivery Unit started off because we don't actually pass a resolution recently in the last few months, because we realize that there is in terms of sustainability, maybe the next mayor may want to continue with this kind of model, and that the act actually allows, there's a section in the act where you say you can set up a unit for with project delivery. It did it. So we don't accept that, we don't resolve that, and we don't say, well, the MDU is now. Because when I started with it as a private office, which is what other mayors have done, which is what presidents have done. A private office funded separately, but you know, as you move forward, you know, you see the opportunity, but it does take will. It does take a determination to focus on the things that matter, which is delivery. If today we sit down and we don't go through all it talk about, I would say we've probably, if it's all that we've done, we've probably achieved less than 50% of what I believe we could have achieved had it not been for the challenges that we faced along the way. Right. With regards to the question of the property rate, you know, I love the fact saying, and it's just human nature, right?
It's well about it too.
Yeah, I love the fact saying, everybody always wants you to do more. Yeah. And then when they say pay you tax, it's a problem. I've had conversations with people when we not say weekends, the whiskey when we drink, it costs more than the property rates for the year when we ask them for pay. You know, I know that, I mean, because 80% of residents, 80% of the property rate payers then bill the CAM to 500,000 euros or less for the year. That's 83%. 500,000 euros or less. You know, that's like 40,000 a month. Okay? So the few way they in the higher brackets, I do appreciate that it was a big shock for some people.
Can you break the markets of the rates? How it goes, or what maybe this person they paid out?
It's points. It's points. It's an assessment of points.
So is it assessment of the house or the location or?
It's a combination, but it's principally the property, the space. You know, just go to the back of your property demand note, and it's all listed there. Or go to our website; it's there as well. I don't have mistake talk anything wrong because I know it's in Gambia. So I'm not going to.
They'll say Mayor be say, but what's
important is that we have a help desk. We get a help desk inquiries desk.
Okay.
Anybody will get challenge or issue. You can come at the office or you send person, and you will. They have. It's a proper help desk. Computers and data. You go sit on there. Then go show you exactly on the computer how it can. And if there's any dispute or disagreement, they can go and do a site visit. Now, the challenge we've had is that there has been resistance to this. When I came into office, there were 30,000 properties in our books, 30,000 domestic. We've now identified, currently in the books, over 106,000, and we know there's another 12,000 that we're going to be able to add on to that. So that's a big increase. Yeah. So less than 30% of Freetonians living in Freetown saying, we're paying property rates, less than 30%. Okay? And then once we build the walls, like cemeteries, and I desperately want to. But as we stand now, I know people have complained to me, I know people have written to me, people have called me and said, I came to council, then tell me to take the system down. They're down. And I know the system, they only did down for 7 days. So the system isn't down. So please go back. Or go to one of our banks. There's Royal Rokel Commercial Bank. You can go there. You can pay there. You can go to Zenith Bank. You can go to Echo Bank.
Cash up. Mobile money transfer, because people want to make things very easy for them.
It's easy to go to the bank. It's easy to go to the bank. It's let's take things one step at a time. We move from a manual system to having the banks able to receive your money. And if you're abroad, we even have a system. You can follow the instructions to make payments. It's a little convoluted. You've got to send an email. That's as convoluted as it gets, really. Right. You've got to send an email with your transaction number and details. But there is a system for you to pay from abroad. In the same way you transfer money, but it's a bit more difficult to make sure we match the payments. Right. But we're still able to do it if you follow the instructions on the website. So we want to continue to make improvements to our city. We want to particularly ensure that something that is dear to everyone's hearts, which is our cemeteries, that our cemeteries are cared for, that the walls are built, the lighting is put in place. We want to continue to ensure that our streets are swept. And, the streets are swept. This is indisputable. I know people, I don't see some kind interesting thing where they go take some photo and put out, where you married? Yes, we do know that every so often something will happen. Yeah. But the streets are swept. The streets are swept. And what we really all need to work on now is ensuring that we have changed our attitude. Yeah. No, we're not just on street, you did that, you find you take you back about you even on street. I mean, come on. Let me not do that. Because then you serve the first streets who serve the wonderful. Yeah. But Freetonians, you've been great. It's been a real pleasure, and it's hard work, but I love to serve.
T-boy, yeah. We don't talk to Mayor. He don't tell me all the good things. Then she sounds so positive and hopeful.
She doesn't sound positive. She is positive.
Well, again, meaning that she will articulate but we know say nothing, no the way, no get challenges. We've talked about the successes. We've talked about the processes and everything. Are there, waiting at some of the challenges there? Because you stated that we've achieved maybe 50% of, waiting for that achieve. So sometimes by now, if other things then be okay, we'll for achieve more than this. So what are those challenges, and how you don't try for manage and wiggle around for stay on course that's possibly then not cause distraction, to the bigger picture for Transform Freetown?
Well, certainly one of the challenges that in fact say we will get a suspension of the property rates in 2020. Then they really carry go beyond, because we don't get a system We don't identify non-trading streets. We don't bring on board the military police as part of the team, the Traders Council as part of the team, and we don't become very effective in policing their non-trading streets. But when we not be able to collect revenue, when we had that suspension from the ministry, one of the first things that we had to let go of the military police, we had to let go of the Traders Council marshals, and then like I said earlier, when you talk about the lack of planning, not the lack of planning, when you talk about the fact, say you not get the mandates, and you have all of these people coming in from rural areas, the explosion, that's what I was talking about, the explosion of population in Freetown, and the explosion of street trading on every single corner. I mean, the fact that we not been getting our revenue meant that we lost control of whose side we now manage for all. And then with the increase, it became harder. It also meant that our plans for increase the Met Police recruitment and hire another 50 were
the City Council police force.
City Council, not the Met Police, yes. We're very important for the enforcement of the bylaws, the street trading, and the sanitation, etc. So that was a big challenge. 50. We've got 110. We want to put. Ideally, we should have 700. Exactly. But na money. I know, but na money. And so I'm saying one of the challenges, not having those resources. So if for a whole year you didn't collect. So towards the end of the year, the Minister of Finance was able to step in because I really make a strong case, on all which was going wrong. Clearly, I don't think there's anywhere in the world I know where a local government has been stopped from collecting taxes. So we did get 3 months of cover for the budget for October, November, December of 2019. But that was not enough to make up for the impact, of waiting we for don't raise. And then this is fed through because another challenge is this hiring, the fact that the local government, the core staff are hired by the local government ministry. And so this challenge where poor performance, you actually can't do very much. If somebody, as I've experienced, if my chief administrator has chosen to not speak to me for weeks or months on end, I don't get recourse. I've written letters. If they're not addressed, then you have a very dysfunctional situation. Yeah. You get sort of tied. Things wait for just take 5 minutes for do. They take forever. Yeah. So it's very challenging. That's a very big challenge. Another challenge I would say, and for me a very fundamental one, is the lack of devolution of land use planning and building permits. Because I can say if this table is the city, and you get right now on the table for, if you can't see it, if viewers can't see, you've got 2 cups, 2 glasses, and a phone on the table. Just imagine now, you are the mayor of the table. But you, T-Boy, able to come and pull what you want, add 6 more tables, 6 more plates, you turn us, well, that's Nina urban management. So because the mayor has no control over who builds what where, how they build, it is, and also another thing where we see is, Ed said he go dig hole, they left all the dirty. I don't know if it's SalCap or who is the other, because I don't write to all the utilities, nobody now replying me. But we have, you dig trench, you left the dirty, rain camp, a wash up. So that lack of coordination.
So basically, you don't have a mechanism of controlling what happens within the municipality.
But if you don't have building permits, if that means to say anybody can build anything, you just see this other structure, they go local park, Tonso, what are they built inside waterways? There was a video I did recently where I was horrified that day to see that structure going up in that waterway, right next to the Congo Water Market. All right. To the relevant authorities. I received a letter from the Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Environment saying that investigate. The last time I checked, the structure don't work. So the gutter, the waterway is blocked. Yes, absolutely. So the deforestation with, building permits being given, land being given out in protected areas, so most of these protected areas are not in Freetown, but because of the hills down to the valley sort of scenario it affects us.
Yeah.
The runoff. So you will see like along, particularly not just along the east, but particularly along the eastern, old road, you go see all the dirty. Even the flood mitigation, we go clear the gutter. And speaking of flood mitigation, I mean that's a challenge. So flood mitigation back in April, we had written to RMFA because in the 3 years that I've done the flood mitigation, 2018 we got donor funding and private sector. First year was really successful. 2019, we were able to work with the Ministry of Finance and we got funding from RMFA because our model, we work with the soldiers, etc. 2020, we were able to get funding from different EU through COVID, using the expression avoiding a crisis within a crisis. We know they can COVID and we can't get flood. Yeah. So please, when I every for make this work. This year, in April, we don't already write to RMFA for say, bring the for camp. Please, we know we have an allocation because it's in the budget that went through the parliament.
Right.
We did not get a reply. The RMFA CEO we spoke, he said he was going to follow up. But to my surprise, what I've seen now is ONS, a national body, working with the soldiers, doing the flood mitigation in our city with no reference to FCC. So I think that's an interesting coordination issue. But you know what? It's T-Boy. At the end of the day, I care about making sure people's lives are improved. So if not so in FOB, no problem. I'm glad that there's a model that's provided that can be, sort of leveraged off.
Look, keep on straight. Because as far as I know, if you are the mayor of Freetown, for example, get City Council for London, you therefore work with all partners involved. Because in interest, now for make sure say the city of London gets everything that it deserves.
Yeah.
I'd expect that same model for the almost.
Yeah, but I mean, as I say, if we don't write, follow up. If I don't chase, I don't, we don't even send a team, the engineer, the sanitation officer, and councillors go to MFA. They don't get meeting and don't say yes, we have the money. Then the money don't come. But I see another agency, a national agency, not a local authority, now doing the work that we think is supposed to be our work. I think
so. The IMF don't get back any feedback to that in terms of what's happening, so they just leave everything just like that.
We'll continue to follow up.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, I'm doing this role because I'm committed to making a difference in the lives of people. That's why, and so that has got to be the number one.
Yeah, that's
focus,
the primary rule.
It's really helpful. It would be very helpful if everybody took that approach. If there was this level of collaboration and coordination, I think it would really be very, very good for our country. But where it doesn't, and for our city, but where it doesn't happen, you find workarounds. So if today, I don't already tell them, say, we have transfer stations which were funded by international donor money. Wait for May, we now did August, openings. If I say we tricycle, they'll not be paid. If I say we get goods and the ports, they don't come out today. As sanitation vehicles, I saw the email as I was there, was coming, but it took too long. So I think we can do better when it comes to
the process that you want to.
Yeah, I think we can do better in terms of coordination and cooperation. I think that we can get more of a big picture in terms of one of my challenges. Having a situation where there's dysfunctionality, if I don't write 10 letters and I don't get a reply, and I'm actually highlighting administrative failings. But again, what I said earlier is where I want to go back. You know what? Challenges will always be with you.
Of course.
But what you need to do is focus on how you overcome. And how you overcome is by building partnerships where there are openings. It's by ensuring that you continue to tap into goodwill. You know, there is no one brush to paint everybody. This is, as a nation, for us to move out of being at the bottom of the rung, we've got to reinvent ourselves when it comes to how we live.
Yeah.
We get from no say, after a general election, after the politics, you come to governance.
Right.
And governance is a time where the divide should be less. And I will say, people are not going to know, we see even the Labour, the Conservative, the Republicans, yes. But Nikki always say, we as Salon, we not get the safety nets where other people then get. Elect them one and make Plagate, now Westminster. People then go still get jobs.
Yep.
People then go still go for their door because there are systems. When you're at the bottom, where we get such a long way to go, waiting for it's a problem for most people in the country. We need to make sure our focus is not on politics, it's on delivering. But yeah, so, you know, the challenges and they, you know, we seek for work around them, work through them. We give credit because we know we're not an island. We know that there are places and points of convergence where there has been collaboration, you know, so we give credit and thanks for that. But we also say, at this point in time, we definitely would love to see, I mean, like for example, the Minister of Planning can be office for 2 hours. But the Chief Administrator boycott the meeting, don't come. And here we are, all the things that were agreed at that meeting have not been done. How does that work? How do
you try for mad and make sure this happen?
Also, you continue to build on the positives. I mean, you don't say as I come, I don't take time off my vacation. I don't, you know, engage with the Mayor of London. You know, next week I'm engaging the Mayor of Bristol, our partner, Twin City Hall.
Yeah.
You know, so you're always looking for opportunities, but you need to manage team. We cannot be dependent on other people forever.
That's what I wanted to say.
When it comes to our own sustainability, we've got to look inward. When you say pay poverty rate, not for bad, not for we own sustainability. But I can also understand the importance of creating and building the economy. So, you know, when I talk about the cable car, when I don't laugh, but I want you to know that economic productivity
for sure.
we go be significantly enhanced.
Yeah.
If journey really take us in 2 hours, you can do it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Even the building of those stations and the uplift in the neighborhoods, that is an economic investment into our city. We're creating jobs in those sectors we discussed before, sanitation.
And things can actually move faster because if you can migrate from, as you say, from Lonely to the other parts of Freetown within an hour, that it means your goods will not be perished. You can get your goods delivered at every given point in time without even talking about it.
I mean, we don't explore, I don't want to say too much about it because it's still early days. But we explore a system of getting refrigeration into markets.
Right.
The old markets, not just the new markets. Because the new markets where we mentioned them for, then we'll get some built in.
Right.
We are working on recycling. You know, one of my meetings here, thankfully they're very, very serious and don't go far. And all we need to do is to give them access to the transfer stations, which by God in power will be operational soon. We will get over this ridiculous obstacle and not waste, you know, UK taxpayers' money, because I know nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So, I mean, I'm very confident that the Minister of Planning and others will push this forward and not allow this hold up any longer. And similar, that's what's happened with the vehicles in Japan, which are now clear after 2 months in the ports.
Sitting there waiting for nothing to happen. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we're done. We're good. So we just come back to the point about the economy. It's really, really critical because one thing we need as a city, you know, when I talk to colleague mayors, you talk about raising revenue, but you also need to talk about city investments, and that day back again, we get challenges with the own level of devolution. You know, in terms of what is devolved to council versus what is not.
Right.
But there's always space to create an enabling environment. And that's something that we can do. So simple thing like having a clean city. That's something where
It's
it's
not as simple as you're saying.
yeah, but it makes a
It
difference
is a
to
massive
business.
challenge because
And it makes a difference.
again, like you said, things doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
Mhm.
And that kind of mindset that you want to lead the people of Freetown get at the back of the mind say, yes, we want all this to happen. You want to make Salone become Freetown, become the city of the cities within West Africa, Africa, and possibly globally. So that's the vision. And if you get Salone man and Freetonian and then for change the mindset, it will gradually happen.
And we actually are making an impact because the mayor of Kanaya looked at the sanitation system. You know, so I mean, it is a system and not an event. It is processes, you know, and not one-off gestures. It's actually something which can be sustained. And similarly, the mayor of Monrovia invites me, and that was his primary focus. So yes, I was going to make a speech on Monrovia Day, which I made, but that first night we reach, after we don't eat dinner at 10 o'clock, I said, Mayor, I'm not too tired, but please can we begin to talk about sanitation? So we went to a conference room, you know, and we brought a sanitation group, and we began to discuss waiting, how will you do it? So we actually have a model, and you know, it's a model that makes sense for us in a developing country. Forget the small tricycles, then forget the transfer stations, forget something where fit we, as opposed to the model where go fit England. But ultimately, so we're building a weigh bridge. So we're able to actually weigh the garbage, really coming to King Tom very soon. So that we're able for better, because right now we're doing a lot of estimating estimate what percentage of collection we don't reach. Okay. You know, so we want to be able to actually calculate that, because you know the studies we know we as a city we generate about 590 tons of waste a day.
And Mayor,
50% of that is.
Yeah, let's just jump in. I know, say, you know, we argue with you for about 90 minutes, but we've gone way over. But thank you so much. We appreciate that. Before we begin, ask you about the future of all the, because you have like a year and a half to go or less, you know, and then within next, actually the future for the, you know, Transform Freetown Agenda. There's something we just mentioned, and I don't know whether that's part of the council's agenda, that it will sound funny if I say quality dirty. Are we thinking of recycling and, you know, get quality dirty? How we be able to export that outside? Because other countries, them, if we're not able to use them, but export them other side and all that. I don't know whether that's part of the council's program or agenda.
Okay, so dirty. All dirty not the same.
Right. Now make us say quality dirty.
Different. Dirty different. And dirty actually reflects your socio-economic standing. Because the kind of dirty way you get there, if you go down a person there, if you go down at this bus, when I go see Amazon box, when I go see, you know, what's called Tesco, cartoon, different. Yeah. So your the level of types of dirty, 9 different. A lot of we dirty not organic, because it will be your cassava leaf, it will be, you know, the things that we would use. That's a lot of we dirty. And then of course, increasingly, unfortunately, plastic.
Yeah, plastic is the worst.
Plastic. So what we really do, we don't actually get the benefit now of a partnership with a recycling company when a plastic then we focus on. And we've had other approaches on recycling for plastic. But again, even plastic, not all plastic are plastic. Yeah. You know, some recycles and we can only do what's called PET, the PET, like particular grade of plastic, but these guys can do anything, all kinds. So we are, as I've been saying earlier, we are going to work with them. And by God in power, by early next year, we should start that. And the value we really give them is the benefit of the value chain. So the tricycle guys being a part of that, them knowing that they can sell that to them, and then also using the dump sites. So then therefore do the what's it called, sorting centers now, King Tom and So that's what's going on with recycling. With regards to, I will not mention already, say on the organic waste, really try for see how we can scale up. In a small level now, we just get the one pilot in Aberdeen, but how we can scale up for do this waste to energy.
Yeah.
So that day we day on in terms of recycling. But you know, even in the West, recycling not so an easy thing. It can sound easy, but not that easy. But we're very excited about making this start. And for see side that's very good.
Okay. So now that kind of the remaining bits of your last stuff, right? You know, you are anything more being into that?
No, I think Mayor don't try. You know, just get for dig up then conversation, yeah. So for see how things then they go. So definitely, we want to ask the mayor. I don't put in so much energy in team. They've achieved so much within a short space of time amidst all the challenges. But what's the hope for the Transform Freetown agenda and for Freetown, you know, within the last 1 year? Then possibly after we done this formal part, we'll ask one last question before, you know, we wrap up.
Well, I mean, I think the great thing about having a plan is that you work to a plan. I've not been able to get a chance for go home. I mean, this was said before I come because I was going to come with the Transform Freetown overview, the 1 year report and the 2 year report, and I will make sure that before I go. If I post something myself, I could do that, can I get them? So the thing about Transform Freetown is like, it's not something that you've got a plan, you've got a roadmap. So you just keep going, you know? So what you'll see in the next year and a half or however long we get is a continuation. We get 19 targets, they're articulated. We don't make more progress on some than on others. We go continue for look at whose side we feel to say, there is a real chance of moving the needle, you know, actually getting to where we want to go to. There are things that will just continue. Sanitation has got to continue, you know, and it's got to embed. As I say, we don't get to 40,000. By God in power, we want to get to 80,000 in the next few months as we bring on the 88 new tricycles. We want to then move on to make sure we don't have that gap. So we want to close that gap. We want to make sure that the transfer stations operate. We want to see that World Bank project over. I mean, we didn't even talk about urban planning and housing. We didn't talk about the slum upgrades. We've got 2 neighborhoods where we don't do significant work over the last 18 months. College Town and Cockle Bay, working with the Slum Dwellers Association, work with those communities, identify the soil types, look at what kind of housing that they would prefer, engage external donors, and looking at relocations. So there's all of that we will continue to work on. Freetown, the Tree Town, we'll plant this rainy season, we'll plant next rainy season. The cable car, we'll get the feasibility study done. We will continue for move on the PHUs. We'll continue to do the school mentoring cluster mentoring program and build our boards for the municipal schools. We don't need help to strengthen the boards, bringing new board members on, bringing new skills, doing board member training, boards of governance training. We'll continue to beautify the city. We have funding which we've applied for to convert 100 illegal dump sites into green spaces. We did the Aberdeen green space. We've done the Wallace Johnson. Rotary is partnering with us, or we're partnering with Rotary because it's really them who are driving this on other green spaces. One of the things about Transform Freetown, I said at the beginning, is the who. The who for us is everybody. And they're open as a city. We want to work with whoever wants to work with us. And I think that's the best way to get the most done. You know, I think there's an old African saying, we say, you know, you want to go fast, go on your own. You want to go far, go together. And that's what we seek to do with Transform Freetown. We really seek to say, you know, and that's why, you know, we get somebody like Finor, when this young man Beckley, Natasha Beckley, Councillor Beckley, and brother Patrick Beckley. And he is partnering with us. He's got a brand, a fashion brand, but he's into sustainable fabrics. So he loved the tree planting idea. So India actually do impact tokens. So when you buy his product, you can actually invest in a tree. So there, and this is, you come up with these ideas. You don't come up with these ideas. People come up with these ideas.
Yeah.
But because you're open to working with everyone and you're not interested in any kind of like anything else, you just want the delivery, there's so much that you can get done. And so we're so grateful. And I must tell Papa God thank you. Because, and I must say thank you to my family. Like you say, I'm here on vacation. I haven't seen my husband in the longest. But to have a family that loves you, supports you, and gives you the space to serve, in this way, a real blessing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Fambule where they listen. This now Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, OBE, the mayor of the Freetown City Council, and it don't spend time with we today now so for talk about Transform Freetown Agenda, the successes, challenges, and the future. And the capital city where we so like in as much as we can cry, but we all want to go holiday, we all want to go spend time there, and we all expect when we reach the city for clean, every facilities that are available, we start for compare with two side we come out, but it takes we all for do that. Now people get for do them. They happen by magic. So let's embrace the Transform Freetown Agenda. Work with the council. T-boy, you be the try for tell me the other day say you the try for investors alone, business ideas, you stock. Now look, the tricycle thing there, so you have no excuse.
I the council that because
so you have no excuse anymore. And I know say Femi self, be the struggle with ideas. So, and Femi obviously, the one thing I see Femi jubilate about the other day was finally able to get in what you call up the street's name to a place where he did. He go up that Facebook, he almost want to go do live for say I able go I get the street's name where we don't take possibly years for happen. Let's be positive. It doesn't happen overnight. That's what I'll tell people. But Mayor, we thank you very much. We have to ask you this question. What happened next? Are you, because you term the end, in the next 1 year or year and a half, we'll go ask you this political question. Now, this is a political question. Are you going to, run again to be, mayor of Freetown, or do you have other, aspirations and all of that? That's a political question, and I think, the public will not forgive us if we don't ask that question, being that you're still you're a non-traditional politician, let's put it that way. Over to you.
So I really will just refer you back to the earlier statement. I'm really committed to serve, and that we set out a plan. The plan not only fulfilled in full, we don't make tremendous progress. And again, I will thank all stakeholders. Everybody gets a role within play and continue for play. So let we, I want to see a transformed Freetown. I want to see a Sierra Leone that I can be proud of. I am proud of my country. I'll always be proud of my country, but I want to see a Sierra Leone where I'm not making excuses. So I am committed to serve.
That does not answer the question. But anyway, it's either the question in answer, but I believe for sure your commitment to serve is to make sure that you deliver whatever you want to deliver.
Absolutely. Transform Freetown is not done yet.
No, it's not done.
It's not done yet. It's a work in progress.
There is a lot more to be done for Transform Freetown.
Yeah.
Whichever support you need from we on side of the team for make sure you transform Freetown will definitely come.
Yeah.
That's not a question asked. But again, Juma, I would say the question is a political question, but you don't also mention, say, the mayor is not an iconic politicians where you can't tell you say X, Y, Z, Z, Z. When they ask him what's he going to deliver within the first 3 months in office, he talks, say, planning. So basically, whatever you're asking her now is basically going to be planning. So it's all about planning, because again, the planning, if it is not there, you won't be able to achieve anything. So yeah, if you're planning and you're planning now what it is going to be after the next year and a half in your time in office, we'll look forward to see what's the plan, because the plan is very important. We've seen the plan already before you 90 days in office, and we don't see the amount of work we don't do within that period of time. And we look forward to the balance of work we get to do after you 1.5 years with the left with the planning. So I think I will go with the fact that the planning is the key to any of the answers that anybody will look at for out there. So the planning is what we're looking at for, and the planning is what we believe in, and the planning is what is going to transform Freetown. Do you want to make clear for you?
Juma, you can take me job.
After I don't let you down.
Juma, you can take me job.
Juma, we can't hear you. Sorry.
Where are you, Juma?
Juma, go on. Juma, we still can't hear you. But
yeah, sorry about that, T-Boy and Mayor. They get calls them, people and they call and text wanting us to ask you questions, thinking say they're able for ask. So forgive me for that. I was trying to talk to those people. Yeah. So for me, again, we just have to ask this question. Let we understand what's in the happen. So we've asked it, and obviously.
No, Juma, maybe don't say Juma, I can take me job. Juma, ready for you.
Sorry.
I said, I don't say Juma, I can take me job.
No. I know they can't take a job. They think say because I was not happy the way Freetown they go.
Mayor.
So I had intentions.
No, Juma, wait. Mayor, actually, Juma left Freetown.
Juma left me down.
Big time. Because
Hey,
when we sit down and get this discussion, we put all things in place. Plan, just like we say, we plan, put all together the logistics, we spend the money, and then he left Freetown.
No, I'm not let down because I saw a better candidate, somebody who have to able for do better.
And we will not make lists though.
Yeah.
Contenders then. And when they come up, he said, I have to back up. I'm like, no, you're joking, Juba. He said,
yes.
I just go back out.
Oh.
And it's serious.
Yeah, so I don't regret them at all.
Great.
And count us in to help that Transform Freetown Agenda.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Over to you, T-Boy.
Well, definitely we don't get a lot from you, and we don't believe so. We don't over-exhaust the time we request for, and we're very pleased and happy for the fact you don't do not just we, but the entire audience and the people that follow we the opportunity for making able to give them a brief, because we're not going to talk about everything we entails in transforming Freetown. We don't do, but we're not going to exhaust the time anymore. You say you can't holiday, but we totally disagree with you. It's a working holiday. And we don't take a lot of your time with this working holiday. And it's a pleasure for getting you at the studio today. And we appreciate the fact that you take some of your other time again for still spend with your family, for counting with me for the past couple of hours. We can't say any more than that. Forget you in the honor for Liquid presents you to the entire diaspora community with the watch me anyone back with this salon. For say thank you for coming, and we appreciate you so much, and we believe say we therefore continue for follow-up with the good work they really do. And we therefore continue for assist in any way, shape, or form we can in making sure Transform Freetown is also part of the agenda. Because Transform Freetown should not have any kind of political quotation next to it. It's just Transform Freetown. And I believe say any agenda we get for do with Salon is our agenda, regardless of the mantra with the agenda they carry. And with your agenda, we not just buy into them, we love them, because every day where people in the common area they go salon, the first thing when they talk about their Freetown. And we don't make Freetown salon, and you they transform that Freetown the way we call salon for the first point of call for anybody when they visit the country. And we say thank you for that, and we're not going to for thank you anymore. And your entire team, we don't support you for make sure that it's possible. And also the international donors then, because without the international funding of you doing all this stuff they really do, it would have been practically impossible. We know the dynamics of the country will come out in terms of financial status, in terms of ability for funds, certain things that way possibly is of no benefits to the international communities other than changing the narrative, and also with your ability and your links and making sure that you reach out to all the external communities that were involved in helping out in developing nations like a salon. I think say we can't ask for any more than that. So it's a pleasure to have you today. And we get forget you back home. So this is not just the beginning of the beginning. So I must say the best is yet to come, and when the best comes, it's for the benefit of all Sierra Leoneans. So it's been a pleasure to have you. I don't know, Tito, don't get to the Oba of Charlton. We're totally out of the camera. But it's deliberate, because what's the program? So you in one of your biggest fans, but we don't cease in your continuity enough for saying nothing to you.
And T-Boy, I'm jealous.
Why?
Because I'm not physically in the studio. I'm really.
We're not physically for 6 more hours. Imagine not physical.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? But Mayor, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And please, we want to make a public appeal because people have been asking about the town hall. We've been doing a town hall when we did the property tax, and people are asking us. So we hope that part of our partnership for propagate Transform Freetown Agenda, we hope we'll be having, subsequent town hall meetings.
I mean, I think I can actually say right now that has come to a reset one for you as a team.
Okay.
Because we recognize that, not for all man will see something at Facebook, not for all man will get chance for look the website. And since, our residents, this is a very useful way to visit yours, you not get for move out. So, and that's what it's about, right? It's about being accountable, it's about putting yourself out there, being open to answer people's questions. So I'm absolutely looking forward.
Wonderful.
Let me plan some town halls together.
Well, and let me assure you, possibly you might be working our diaspora audience. 60% of our viewers and followers are from, are based in Sierra Leone and within the age of between 20 to 40 years. So I just give that short statistics. They they keep track.
But we're all valuable. So I know diaspora, homegrown.
The diaspora is unique. Definitely is unique. But another one I want for help you, brother.
Who that? For help out?
We don't feel bad to you. But anyway.
No. It will get a pass,
Go on.
No, I mean, it will get for beer no more. You not get choice. You just get for beer, and hopefully we'll get the next town hall. It will physically present for, possibly moderate that program with the mayor.
All right. Well, thank you very much, the mayor. I think for let you go now because we don't overrun your time, and we hope to see you in another edition of not a Saturday, but one of the salon discussion time where we'll get with you in the mayor's office.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. And then we can see how they take a tour with the mayor in Sierra Leone, in Freetown. Now that I know who's Freetown bound there.
But possibly
how they talk about Freetown.
And hopefully with the pilot's electric car.
Okay. For the feasibility study, you're not gonna get a chance for. But you can look the drawings and everything.
Yeah, it's a start. It's a start. All right,
we're fundraising for the feasibility study, but by God in power, we'll have that soon.
God will do that fun. Because what we intend for the cable car, I think it's not just important for just the people who the team say we use them, but it will change the dynamics of the economy of Freetown. Definitely, it's going to be a massive, great improvement.
Yeah.
But we can't keep you any longer than saying thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you, and then we can say thank you to all our viewers. Then we don't watch me online on Facebook, on YouTube. And with all our contributions, unfortunately, today I am not with you guys to check what you're saying, what sort of discussions is happening on the chat. But yeah, I will go back and read all the messages and what I was saying today in terms of the support of the mayor, in terms of the work of the mayor. And we believe it definitely is an ongoing, continuous job where the mandate. She's here to serve. She has to serve. And she's accountable to the people that she's serving. That's why she's here today talking to us about everything that happens in Transform Freetown. So that's not the mandate way we take upon every leadership we get in our salon say, you're serving us, you have to tell us what you're doing, and you're open to question. But it's unfortunate today we can't keep the mayor for any longer than the amount of time that you can afford, because definitely it come on holiday. We don't hijack time holiday time, but it is going to be a great pleasure to say thank you to you all as we sign off now from the UK studio over to Juma for sign off, and then I will say bye bye to you guys and say bye bye to now all, and we'll soon back again on Tuesday with another edition of the Sierra Leone Media Live on Facebook and YouTube. Over to you, Juma. As Juma is trying to wrap up on his side of what he's saying now, but I think I'll wrap up for Juma and say thank you on behalf of the technical team behind the scene. I want to say thank you to the Oba, Femi Palmer, wait till none of them. Madam, in fan base, they are online right now, but none can see them today. But definitely, when I get to see more of Femi from Tuesday. But I will go over to Femi and sign off and say goodbye to Una until next week. Tata, this is not T-Boy, Sylvester Duba signing off on the Sierra Leone media platform in UK. We'll soon be back again next week.
Well. Thank you so much, T-Boy. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you all. And now, so we'll end the program. If we add on it and the only right now, na for labor, kunoto for lay sweet again. Mayor don't can give me full, everything about the council. And the council is open. If you want to ask questions, go there and ask. And definitely there are challenges all over. It's slow, but it's sure. We're all seeing what's happening out there. So ask questions. Let's be positive. Let's build our country. Let's build our city where we will be proud of. There's no place like home. So Unaki asks, also when they talk controversy today, now positive things that ain't come over na salon. So you see, thanks to Transform Freetown Agenda. So at least you have something to tell other people, your colleagues from Nigeria and other parts of Africa. We go in our place, you they bluff. Say you city na this, then they do. All right. So until Tuesday, we'll get a culture show. T-Boy, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we have the culture show here on Tuesday. So join we. We'll come talk about, wonderful things them as well. Femi, thank you so much. We appreciate you. If you're able to say hello to Famble them, yes. If not, then we go less you for.
You know very close.
No. Provoking, T-Boy. So yeah, Femi very busy right now because we get the mayor in our studio. So go say. So me they tell Tata on his behalf. Juma, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Loud and clear. All right. Well, until Tuesday, Una Tata. Bye-bye.
Transform Freetown, our city. Okay, let's go. Undeveloped city, then clean. All clean city develop. If it's a way dirty, that's it go add so make we city develop.
Freetown City Council, they work for you. Pay your business license now or before June 30 this year. And your property rate now or before September 30 this year. For make you not pay late fine. Make we work hand in hand for make Freetown better for we all. Join we on this journey for Transform Freetown. Make sure say you go straight in a City Council building, 17 Wallace Johnson Street, Freetown, for pay you city rate and business license, or you can go na the approved bank partner them. If you get any question, one book appointment, or no receive you demand notice yet, call their number here. Then go answer all your query. 078 333 000 088 333 000 034 333 000.
Na Yvonne, Na Yvonne, talk and go.
Mayor Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, and 11th May 2021 make me 3 years where I don't day in office. I say let I come and tell Freetonians them una boku tenki for where una elect me and when I give me this mandate for serve una. But I not just want to tell una thank you for when I elect me. I want to tell una thank you for when I don't work with me and work with the councillors, work with the staff of Freetown City Council, work with so many stakeholders, including the central government, the international partners, the local partners. I want to tell una, the Freetonians, and thank you, but I want to tell all the other groups and the boku tenki. Together, we embark on a journey for Transform Freetown, and in nobody not be say it go easy. We published the plan in January 2019. And then in January 2020, we published our first year report. And then in January 2021, we don't publish with 2-year report, Inside the reports and day, you go able for read in much more detail, waiting we don't achieve. But family them, as I just share today some of the things that really make me heart gladdy pan this walk here. One thing we're really glad about, now the wastewater treatment plant where we don't build na King Tom. This is the first time ever in the history of Salone for let we get the thing we come on with toilet. Instead of it just gonna grow na King Tom, it actually go into a plant where they get for separate the solid from the liquid and get for treat them and waiting get for come out can go towards manure. It can now be safely the liquid can now safely be disposed into the waterways. Another practical thing we are so glad for. Now this urban farming project, we bring over 300, in fact we start with 300, now we add another 200 women them. We now at them backyard them and in community level, particularly in the deprived communities.
And you can create this, where you give, the okra they come up, they will plant them.
The women they do farming projects where go benefit them picking them for get more nutritious food, but it go also help them for get small thing at the hand as they sell them in the market. And then their nursery school. Famble then go no say we've been done open the one at Congo Water Market for make vulnerable women them and then young picking it under the age of 5 get free quality preschool care. And now we dip and build the second one. We do refurbishment upstairs in the Freetown Road Market, and that facility will be open and available to women and men traders inside Freetown Road Market. Tricycles. Well, then tricycle and they not only then they help for keep we city clean, they also they create employment. We don't create so far over 1,200 jobs with young people then where they go and collect dirty na the streets. And now we get 90 more where they come on stream. So I'm so happy because it increased the capacity for collect dirty. At the same time, it increased the number of people them, young people that we get work. Let not talk about the transfer station when a day the dirty then they go. So we don't get 4 additional ones, including the one at Lumley, the one at Approved School, the one at Shell, and the one at Allentown. Bele Uman them. Then they all over the community. That journey for going to PCMH, it can challenge Boko of them. So we work for upgrade 5 of we PHUs them for make them be monk, side with side Bele Uman, they able for born. Freetown people them, Boku people that know say dog na challenge na this city. And so we don't start a program for sterilize, vaccinate the dogs them so that we go get control over dogs and we the ambog motaman, but we the ambog themselves. We go make we city healthier and it go reduce the risk for let people then get us sick with and call rabies. I don't share small about wait we don't do and over these 3 years, but I just touch the thing in Boku. I go say anybody want for no more. Also go now with Facebook page. We get Freetown City Council Facebook page. We also get Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr, Mayor of Freetown. You go able for follow we. Let we continue for work together with all we stakeholders for let collectively we transform Freetown. Una, thank you and God bless you.
Na Yvonne, Na Yvonne, talk and go, talk and come. Na Yvonne.
Yes, this not time for all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour and the Gladi program, Look Me, I Look You. All this they start soon na www.sierragemmedia.org. Now who's tem these? Somebody
yeah.